are you lying? This all happened. Why do you want viewers? Because your boyfriend is underage. What? Yeah. That's not true. Oh no. Oh no. That's not true. You're man. Stop.
In there.
Oh my god. What I need to stop is when I go to a party, I need to know when to stop drinking. When I start drinking, I know that's borderline alcoholic. But
one of Twitch's loudest, funniest, and most chaotic streamers, JustaMinx built her name off of unpredictable energy and big collaborations. She broke into the Twitch streaming scene back in 2020, after she was forced to stay back in the United States due to COVID-19 travel restrictions. And in no time, she found her audience. And soon enough, she became a popular streamer who was captivating millions with her raw humor and chaotic charm. From her small-time streams to amassing nearly 2 million followers on Twitch, she became a queen on the internet, becoming the 16th most followed woman on the platform. While she was on top of the world, she was collaborating with Dream SMP giants, going on dates with other creators on Minecraft, basically being a member of the Dream Team. In the same time frame, she also made multiple appearances on Love or Host, a dating show for Twitch streamers. But her fame slowly opened her up and revealed a dark side that was heavily reliant on drunkenness. Her first and most major controversy was her drunken meltdown she had at the 2023 Streamer Awards. Her commotion caused emergency response to be called to the venue and the $50,000 party to be shut down. The Streamer Awards after-party was allegedly shut down by the Twitch streamer JustaMinx, who became overly intoxicated at the party.
What I need to stop is when I go to a party, I need to know when to stop drinking. When I start drinking, I know that's borderline alcoholic.
Then, she was seen defending streamers like Crazy Slick, who was accused of assaulting a female. This action sparked accusations of victim blaming. Then, a chaotic family fight on stream turned physical, alienating fans further.
Why are you lying? This all happened. Why do you want viewers? Because your boyfriend is underage. What? Yeah. That's not true. Oh no. Oh no. That's not true. You're man. Stop.
In there.
Oh my god. I need to stop the stream. I don't know how. And it says end. Sorry about this, guys.
From Twitch bans to public breakdowns, Minx's spiral left her isolated, her once thriving career now in tatters.
Hi, YouTube. Hey, everybody. It's me, Minx, and if you don't know me, hi, I'm JustaMinx. I live stream usually over on Twitch, but you can see from the title, I won't be doing that for a while, huh? Well.
Yet, to understand her fall, we must first return to her roots. To see a lonely girl in Dublin, Ireland, who found solace online, and was dreaming of a life beyond the ordinary. This is the rise, the controversies, and the uncertain future of JustaMinx. Rebecca Rowe, also known as Becca or JustaMinx, was born on the 3rd of November 1996 in Dublin, Ireland. During her early life, she was raised in a traditional Catholic household alongside her younger sister, Lauren. In its early years, Becca's life was marked by a quiet but persistent struggle for acceptance and self-expression, the normal struggle for young, bright kids. From a young age, she felt different from the rest as she was louder, weirder, and less polished than the girls around her. Her personality didn't mix well with the rigid expectations of her all-girls Catholic school. Rumors and social ostracization followed her through secondary school, and it was during these lonely years that she was then diagnosed with epilepsy, another isolating factor in a society often uncomfortable with visible vulnerability. In her early teenage years, Minx temporarily experienced a clinical death and was resuscitated at a hospital after having a seizure during a car accident. After this experience, she said she no longer believed in Catholicism due to not experiencing an afterlife after death. But while the offline world pushed her to the margins, the online world gave her space to breathe. In 2008, at just 11 years of age, Becca created her first YouTube channel. Though the channel has since vanished from the internet, its content gave early glimpses into her creative mind. She uploaded strange, playful videos with random themes. One was a documentary about tadpoles, and another being a Club Penguin horror movie. These videos weren't polished productions, but they reflected a young girl experimenting, inventing, and daring to be seen. By the age of 12, she'd expanded her creative outlet to Wattpad under the username M_Panda. Here, she started off by first writing fanfiction that was inspired by numerous anime and movies like Harry Potter. Then she pivoted to writing original fantasy romance stories, with some of her titles inspired by anime, and the others driven by emotional themes of rejection, longing, and transformation. One of her earliest hits on the app was a story about a sad dog that resonated with readers and was a shock to everyone when it went viral. As her confidence grew, so did her audience. By the time she was in her late teens, Becca was pulling in millions of readers with her books, titles like Torn Between Alphas and Made in Lace doing crazy numbers. And in a short time, these stories gained cult-like followings and a fan base that defended her work aggressively against any form of criticism. While others mocked the over-the-top titles or storylines, her fans saw what the novels really were, a raw reflection of someone trying to channel emotional pain into fantasy, drama, and control. But the high didn't last. Still battling with waves of depression and exhaustion, Becca began to abandon her writing projects halfway through. The stories stopped, and the updates eventually slowed down to a trickle. As her mental health situation worsened, she began contemplating a quieter, more conventional path, as her parents have been telling her to. After facing so much pressure from her parents, especially as she still struggled to pay bills, she volunteered at schools, enrolled in a program to become a special needs assistant, and considered settling into a stable job in childcare. For a while, it seemed like that would be her future, but then everything changed in 2016. That year, she discovered Twitch, and with it, a completely new world. The spark of discovery came from Cherry, an Irish YouTuber who made Call of Duty trolling videos and streamed gameplay. Cherry's casual, chaotic vibe was unlike anything Becca had seen before. She wasn't a polished entertainer, she was just herself, unfiltered and raw. That struck a chord. On July 23, 2016, Becca launched her own Twitch channel, JustaMinx. She started small, playing horror games like Dead by Daylight and We Happy Few. Her YouTube companion channel, JustaMX, served as a place to upload highlight reels and funny moments. But growth was slow. For months, she streamed to audiences of 10 to 30 people. Her parents weren't impressed. They once again pushed her to return to childcare, arguing that streaming would never help her pay the bills. In 2017, she worked grueling shifts as a babysitter and also doubled as a receptionist for a graveyard company that sold headstones to stay afloat, juggling 40-hour work shifts with late-night streams. She never gave up. She dreamed of attending TwitchCon, an event that is likened to being the mecca for content creators, but unfortunately for her, she couldn't afford the ticket or travel costs involved. That year, one of her small streamer friends, Toxic Support, suggested that she tried crowdfunding the trip, which she listened to and eventually did. Her then tiny but loyal community pulled together, raised the money in one day, and sent her to TwitchCon in 2018. It was her first major breakthrough. Not in numbers, but in confidence. People believed in her, and she returned more determined than ever. Still, streaming wasn't paying the bills. Her Twitch following hovered under 3,000. Her subscriber count remained in the low hundreds. She quietly debated quitting. The debt, the burnout, the loneliness, it all weighed on her. She began thinking maybe her parents had been right. Maybe streaming was not for her. But in 2019, things began to shift. That spring, her follower count finally ticked past 5,000, and then she hit her first 100 Twitch subscribers. A viral clip of her falling off of her wheelchair, an act that was something so minor, so stupid, somehow blew up on Reddit and Twitter, putting eyes on her channel for the first time.
You live like this, Mix? Mix, you live like this? Mix, you live like this? What the What?
No, that was so.
But it wasn't just physical comedy that kept people watching, it was her openness. She talked frankly about epilepsy, mental illness, insecurity, and rejection. She didn't present a filtered, aspirational version of herself. She was loud, she was messy, she was real. In June 2019, her visibility exploded when she appeared on Austin Show's Lover Host, formerly known as the Jschlatt, which is a Twitch debate show hosted by Austin Show, who was going by Raj Patel back then. The show was known for combining drama, humor, and chaos into a competitive format that rewarded personalities who stood out.
Take
All right. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your Raj Royale podcast cast.
Minx thrived in that environment. Her brash humor, willingness to insult other contestants, and natural comedic timing made her an instant favorite. She became a recurring guest. By November, she was again invited onto the Jschlatt. Her first appearance was as a contestant vying for the attention of Call Me Carson, who back then was one of the platform's rising stars. She made it all the way to the final round, but ultimately lost to Katarino. But it didn't matter. The episode with her went viral, racking up millions of views. People who had never heard of Minx suddenly knew exactly who she was. In next to no time, her Twitch following soared past 10,000. Subscribers multiplied. She ended 2019 with 15,000 followers and over 1,000 subs. Her streams were still chaotic and low budget, filled with Overwatch gameplay and a bunch of bizarre physical stunts. But now, they had an audience. She was growing quickly, and for the first time, it felt like this could actually be her career. Then came January 2020, and with it was the saga that made Minx a legend in the Twitch lore.
Happening, and then it turns out Jschlatt's deciding for me.
Yeah,
So if I look a bit upset, Austin, I feel like I'm allowed to be upset here.
Minx, I will make this show as dreadful as possible for you. That's my one goal tonight.
On the now iconic episode of Love or Host, she competed with Jschlatt, who was a fellow streamer that was known for his dry humor and offbeat comedy. The show basically consists of one competitor who's seeking love, and then a number of suitors and suitresses vying for the lover. During the show, Minx leaned into her absurdity, choosing to draw a crude, sexually explicit picture as her opening bit. It was a hit with the audience, and she easily won the show. Then, when she was hosting with Jschlatt and Natechu as the finalists, Jschlatt, who already chose to find love at the start of the show, ended up winning the show. As a result, he had to go on a date with Minx, and the two became a duo and hit it off since then.
The winner of Lover Host between Jschlatt and Natechu. Jschlatt!
What?
Jschlatt has been chosen the winner of Lover Host. Jschlatt had a decision to make before the show began, and he chose love! What? He chose love!
This was an outcome that nobody had predicted, and it flipped the show's format on its head. The move was funny, unpredictable, and instantly meme-worthy. Fans of the show went wild and were really curious to know what Minx was thinking. The follow-up Minecraft date between Minx and Jschlatt pulled in nearly 4 million views. Their awkward, hilarious dynamic became a fan-favorite trope that wooed audiences across Twitch and YouTube.
Happening, and then it turns out Jschlatt's deciding for me.
Yeah,
So if I look a bit upset, Austin, I feel like I'm allowed to be upset here.
Minx, I will make this show as dreadful as possible for you. That's my one goal tonight.
The timing couldn't have been more perfect. Just months later, the COVID-19 outbreak shut down the world. Almost instantly, borders were closed, airports were shut down, and life was brought to a standstill, forcing everyone to stay home. But that was not possible for Minx, as the lockdown meant that she was left stranded in the US after a visit to Seattle. With no way to return to Ireland, she was forced to double down on streaming to make ends meet in the US. Ironically, the global pandemic ended up becoming the turning point in her career. During the early days of the pandemic, Minx leaned into streaming full-time. Streaming alone, streaming with friends and fellow streamers, even joining competitions and shows, staying active almost round the clock. With the world locked indoors and demand for content at an all-time high, her timing was perfect. After her initial success, she then became a fixture in Austin Show's Lover Host circuit, rapidly building a reputation as one of the format's most entertaining personalities.
Real. All my dreams, you richly fulfill.
Oh my
I'm a
God.
fool for your charms. You belong in my arms. Love me, please say
Just don't get your
that.
cock out! No, stop! Oh! But I was like lowering my OBS to the other screen, and I was like, I didn't know how to stop it.
He was lowering his OBS to the other screen and hitting record.
Something strange. You wanted Jack on.
Jack off.
No, jack on.
Jack on?
She wanted jack on.
You said Jack off.
No, never mind.
So do you want Jack on or off?
Do you want Jack off?
As a result, her Twitch following, which was once stuck under 20,000 subs, exploded. Halfway through the year, Minx had already amassed over 130,000 followers on Twitch and over 50,000 subscribers on YouTube also. But she wasn't just riding the pandemic wave, she became the one steering it. Her collaborations also expanded beyond the lover-host crowd. She co-founded the E-Girl Rejects podcast alongside Casey Tron, QTCinderella, and Austin Show from Lover Host. The idea for a podcast, which really started as a loosely structured friendly hangout, quickly became one of Twitch's most chaotic and funny group podcasts, giving Minx another platform to showcase her loud, brash, Irish, self-deprecating persona.
Oh, there! Look at your setup. So cute. Minx, your setup looks like trash.
You guys talk, I'll fix my setup.
James, really? She's only doing this because the gays canceled her last week because they hated her cake.
Yeah, it was homophobic.
Yeah, so just so everyone knows, we all got the same sewing kit, so we are gonna be sewing today. The cool thing is we should all have dono goals up, right? And what that is sabotage. If anybody's stream hits that dono goal, their stream has a chance to choose who would you like to sabotage. Obviously, it's a little high for the murder your stuffed animal and start all over, because do you guys actually want to take out a cute little penguin like that? I doubt it.
Casey should do the sloth, because Casey
I'll
is
do
a
the
sloth. I'm the stoner sloth.
Octopus. My chat is very excited about an octopus. There's my octopus. He's gonna be awesome. Mine's gonna look just like that.
Imagine if we were alive whenever women had to like sew clothes.
Right?
Wow, that's a cool effect.
As she also continued appearing on Lover Host, her profile was exposed to more and more people, many of which were within the broader streaming ecosystem where she normally would not reach. But with the exposure, her ties with some of them deepened her audience reach as a result. By September of the same year, she won the show's episode for George Not Found, one of the key members of the Dream SMP. Though their post-show Minecraft date was lighthearted, it drew serious numbers, further integrating her into the orbit of one of Twitch and YouTube's most dominant communities.
Am I not your friend?
Twitch.tv/Casey.
These other little motherfuckers. Are you taking Sapnap or Dream or Sapnap? I'm not ready to fight two different people.
Minx, just because she swears a lot and she scares me a lot. She's giving me the death eyes. I feel like she's gonna kill me.
I would come and end you all. Fight! Fight! Fight!
I see you changed your blue.
Oh, you mother fricker, that's why you're blue.
Over the following months, she appeared in streams and collaborations with other Dream SMP affiliated creators like Wilbur Soot, Sapnap, and Tommy Innit. Minx wasn't an official member of the SMP, but her proximity made her feel like a part of it. To many fans, she was the wild card you couldn't ignore. By November, her Twitch following passed 500,000, and within the next 3 months, it would reach 1 million. But with virality came scrutiny and pressure. In December 2020, she received her first Twitch ban, which was not a surprise. The reason for the ban was due to her frequent use of terms like simp, virgin, and incel in a way that violated the platform's new hate speech policy. But then fans on Reddit dug deeper and later found out that the ban happened not because of her using the word simp, but instead it was because she used a racial slur in a previous stream before her ban. The C word specifically. The ban lasted for 7 days, and it sparked debate across the community. Was Twitch overreaching? Were these words really hateful? Many came to her defense, citing the absurdity of the rule and Twitch's inconsistent enforcement, with one user saying they banned the word because it described their staff the best. Other fans supported the ban, highlighting that she already needed to get checked for her behavior. All in all, the ban didn't hurt her momentum. If anything, it strengthened her image as an edgy, unfiltered voice who wasn't afraid to push boundaries. She leaned into the controversy with humor, continuing to grow her audience. Her chaotic vibe that saw her chugging White Claws, cursing mid-sentence, insulting her chat, was now part of her brand. And somehow, the audience loved her more for it. By early 2021, she had amassed over 1.8 million Twitch followers and nearly 700,000 YouTube subscribers. She had gone from an underdog to one of Twitch's fastest growing creators, and a number of people took notice. That May, she joined Team Envy, a professional esports and content organization, alongside creators like Code Miko and the Botez sisters. Plans were announced for a content house in Hollywood Hills, and Minx prepared to move in. That same month, she collaborated with members of OTK, which was another major streamer collective featuring Miskiff, Asmongold, and Esfand. Her growing network, coupled with her podcast and solo streams, made her one of the most visible women on Twitch, ranking as the 16th most followed woman on the streaming platform. But the cracks were beginning to show. In June 2021, she appeared on her Drunk Cast alongside fellow Dream SMP affiliate Nihachu. During the stream, the two creators kissed, something that immediately spiraled into controversy.
I got front screen.
Some fans accused Minx of queerbaiting, but most fans were just happy and glad that it happened. Others called the pair out for being too intoxicated on stream. Some of the criticism was intense, often laced with misogyny, and highlighted the double standard many female streamers faced in the industry. But instead of retreating, Minx doubled down, lashing out at her detractors and further escalating the drama. August brought more drama. At a birthday party for G. Nelly in the UK, attended by other creators like Jack Manifold and George Not Found, Minx was criticized for not wearing a mask despite COVID concerns. Also during the party, she played drinking games with Captain Puffy and some others and shared a consensual kiss, which was later misrepresented online as an assault. The whole event was also mostly streamed, and some fans had strong opinions about the contents of the stream. The internet mob descended. What had once been harmless chaos was beginning to look like something else: self-sabotage. In September, she flew back to the US to attend QTCinderella's camp event in LA. It was supposed to be a wholesome, content-rich gathering of top streamers.
We get sent Red Bull. Where'd you go? Where are you going? I don't know where she is going. Wait, Minx! Ludwig showering!
But her appearance once again made headlines, this time for a viral clip where she appeared extremely drunk, crying and chugging alcohol live.
It's just great because you're like dying.
Viewers began raising alarms. Was she okay? Was she fine? As this content wasn't funny anymore. That November, at an OTK's Friendsgiving event, things boiled over. Milena, a prominent figure in the OTK ecosystem, offered her a drink while Minx was on medication. Asmongold intervened, creating a tense and public argument. Minx insisted she wasn't on painkillers, but the damage was done.
No, Minx, really, she's taking medicine that she really can't drink.
She didn't take them in 3 days.
No, trust me. No, you can't.
She's anti-meds.
She can't. She actually can't, Melina.
Isn't this a turnoff? This is such a...
Melina, please, Melina. She actually can't. She actually can't.
Listen to him. He's cocking us.
Melina. No, she can't.
Okay, I'll put it back in the cabinet.
Stop, she actually can't. Stop. She actually can't. What's wrong with you? Stop.
The clip made its way to r/livestreamfail, where criticism mounted. Her fans were starting to question whether the chaotic persona was just a bit, or if it was actually something darker. One user said it was really confusing as to how it was said to be just a prank when they were still promoting and displaying extremely reckless behavior by mixing alcohol and opioids on a sponsored stream. After that blew over, by January 2022, Minx had moved into the Envy content house with the Botez sisters and Code Miko. On the surface, it was a dream opportunity. Behind the scenes, the move quickly turned into a breeding ground for dysfunction. In one incident, while preparing for a party function, she got trapped in an elevator with an adult film star, Mia Malkova, a move that seemed to have been orchestrated by Nico, and the whole ordeal was streamed online.
What's going on, Paco? Oh no. Shouldn't be open-hearted? What's going on with your elevator?
I think
Does it usually take this long?
she turned it off to scare us. But just
She
said this before.
I don't want to be in the elevator.
No!
It's hot in here!
She's claustrophobic! We're claustrophobic, Miko! We're claustrophobic! Turn it back on!
Oh my god!
Another time, she hosted a hot tub party that spiraled into a drunken mess filled with inappropriate nudity and alcohol abuse. These weren't isolated blips anymore. They were now becoming a routine. That February, she was banned from Twitch again for using a slur, another violation of Twitch's rules around slurs. It was her second strike. One more strike could mean a permanent ban from the platform. Afterwards, she responded with a promise to tone it down, but very few people believed her. The chaos was too embedded, too marketable for her to stop.
Hi, YouTube. Hey, everybody. It's me, Minx, and if you don't know me, hi, I'm JustaMinx. I live stream usually over on Twitch, but you can see from the title, I won't be doing that for a while, huh? Well, let me tell you my story real quick. So, oh, yeah, you might be saying you look real disheveled right now, don't you? Yeah, the spots, the no makeup, well, we got the eyeliner on. I had to put that on real quick for this little video. I was in the middle of my nice little workout. Actually, I was in the middle of brainstorming too. I was being very productive today, right? And I'm like, literally, there's a whiteboard with all plans on it. That's grand. I'm sitting down, hyping up, and me mods dropped me a message. You're like, you're banned. I'm like, nah. Try to open me Twitch, and it's like, hey, this page doesn't exist. So immediately I want to start crying, because I'm like, oh, nope, here we go.
In March, she nearly had to leave the US again due to some visa complications. And earlier, she'd signed up to box in Creator Clash, which was a charity event that pitted influencers against each other in the ring. For a moment, it looked like she'd be dropped from the card. But she resolved the visa issue just in time, stepping into the ring on May 14th, 2022, against fellow creator Yodeling Haley. What followed shocked everyone.
Right, here we go. Oh, right out, boys. This, oh my lord, the war just trading. Oh, Haley took a right hand, solid. Right hand. Oh, slip. It's a slip. She came right back up. God, she stepped right back up. Oh, big right hand landed. Answers to her quickly, both ladies. Haley is not messing around. Makes the stronger. She seems to be the stronger fighter. Loving her coming in. Timing her coming in. Incredible first. Wow. Here we go again. Both ladies trying a war of attrition. Oh, Haley's just running. Minx standing still. I wonder if fatigue's in the play. Man, right hand out of here. Now Minx comes back. Big shots. Right hand, left hand, right. Haley's got to move. Big right hand. Minx has her in the corner. Haley tries to struggle to get out. Haley's got to move. She's got to move. These short right hands are landing. Big hooks. That's a stick and move because Minx has got nothing left. Her hands are by her side as Minx is timing her. The big overhand.
Minx won by TKO. Her form wasn't polished, but her aggression and energy overwhelmed Haley.
Just that entry, instead of coming straight in, the same entry. Because watch Minx start to time it, but look at Haley's going over. Haley's lowering where she needs her. Nice two jabs there for Minx. The right hand behind it. Now she's walking down Haley. Hooks. Left hook, right hook. It's a big right hand. Is big. She's wobbled left hand. Oh. Haley tries to turn. It's over. It's over. Wow. Stop it. A Minx. Wow. With the victory. Wow. This crowd is going. Wow. Oh my goodness. TKO stoppage.
Fans called it the perfect metaphor for her brand. Messy, relentless, and impossible to ignore.
I thought when I was going to fight a TikToker, it was going to be over in one throw. In the first round, she knocks out one of my contacts. I was dazed. Neither of us really remember the fight. And she just kept going and kept going. No, the third round, she knocked out my other contact. So it was just a blurry vision. And at that time, I thought she was going to KO me. Because between like not being able to see, every time she'd come back, there's one clip of her where she's breathing down the nose and she's like, people didn't see it with my coach. I was saying to him that I think they need to tap out. I couldn't breathe. I was losing it. I was like, I can't breathe. And he's like, you got this, you got it. I'm like, oh my God, my dad's watching. The fourth round when I won, you can actually see me in the video not realizing I won. I was so dazed. I was so out of it. When I heard that bell, I thought it was about to go to the next round. And I sat down, they gave me water. And my coach is like, you did it. And I was like, I won? I won?
Between you and Yodeling Haley, that was the most like gut-wrenching fight for me to watch as well. That takes the entire thing for the entire boxing match.
She celebrated the victory as a symbol of her resilience and her Irish fighting spirit. But but the high was short-lived. Between June and October 2022, she co-hosted G4's Name Your Price with Austin Show and Will Neff, appearing in 10 of the 12 episodes. While the show gave her another platform, her off-camera behavior increasingly dominated discussion. At the Envy House, a confrontation with TikTokers who were trying to crash a party that was happening instead led Minx to spit at them. The group of 4 apparently tried to force their way into the party, but were met with Minx at the door who wouldn't let them in. Out of spite, they threw a rock at her but missed. The rock ended up breaking the screen door and scratched a window. That summer, she attended a frat night stream with QTCinderella and Maya Higa. Intoxicated and argumentative, she jumped on a beer pong table and had to be removed.
Okay, it's me. Yeah, your turn, bro. You got this. Seal the deal, bro. Tie it up, tie it up. No! Tie it up, tie it up. You can't. Oh. Oh! Get him next time, get him next time. A straight line at this point. Okay. So you went on the strats and 4 break and then
now what are you gonna do?
Are you okay, bro?
Forward.
Oh my god, is she okay?
Someone call 911!
Her Twitch chat was disabled due to the backlash. Some fans called her out for her actions, saying she ruined the party with that action, especially as the mood for the party seemed to die almost immediately after the jump. While some others believed that the reaction from those around didn't match the action, since stunts like hers were super common at frat parties as they branded theirs to be, by September, the turning point then arrived. Minx got involved in a fight. The story here was that she was at a club or a bar, and she heard a guy calling a group of girls the F-slur, and in the spur of the moment, she went and punched him hard. The guy, who was obviously not a gentleman as he was already shouting slurs, reacted by punching Minx right back. That was what caused the massive bruising on her face, as well as the black eye.
First of all, I'm excuse my fucking hair. Complimented that people want to know, obviously, my eye and my hand is bruised, but the story was there were 2 girls together, and he called them the F word. And to be fair, yes, I did punch him first. He punched me back, which I respect, in a sense, but no.
Her fans were torn up by this, with some of them praising her for standing up to the man who would have been a bully, and some others advised that she should be careful, saying there are other ways to de-escalate situations without any physical altercations. But in all, this action gave her some much-needed positive rep, at least for the time being. Then came the Adriana Lee situation. In September of 2022, fellow Twitch streamer Adriana Lee accused another streamer, Crazy Slick, of assaulting her at a 2021 party, claiming that he and his ex-girlfriend Maya Higa had encouraged her to downplay the incident to protect Crazy Slick from any repercussions. After the reports and the news broke, Minx, who was live at the time that Adriana was talking about the incident, reacted by defending Crazy Slick on her stream, calling Adriana a clout chaser, and saying the whole thing was a bunch of BS.
I was here for this, and the other girl that was there too, and I heard them out. This is bullshit. They went out and Slick literally was just himself, and they took it the wrong way. Slick is good. Slick is weird. Yeah, he is weird, but he does it online. Like, he does, it's always how Slick is. And Adriana is a clout chaser. So am I. No, it's not even the fact that he's depressed. It's hard to
visit a lot because I was friends with all these people. And now it's like I'm just like a social outcast.
Why are you crying on Omegle?
He tried to do all that while you were like drunk, I'm assuming?
But yeah.
The reaction was swift and brutal. Fans immediately turned on her for the insensitive comments. One said that she didn't even have to do the stream, as she was only tangentially involved. yet she willingly threw herself in the line of fire. Another pointed out the insensitive comment that she made in an attempt to validate and justify Slick's actions by saying, "Slick is just Slick. He's weird. That's just Slick." Yes, because assaulting women is a quirky character trait. In response to all the hate and backlash she was getting, Minx spiraled. But just when you thought it could get worse, one of her longtime friends, Toxic Support, the same that advised her to take the crowdfunding route to get money for TwitchCon 2018, came out with some worrying news about Minx. In her public statement, she claims to have been at Minx's TwitchCon party that happened at her Airbnb back in 2018. While at the party, she says she and her friend were playing a drinking game where they each had to do a shot or take off a piece of clothing if they lost the round. While this was going, it was fun until near the end when her friend was already down to her underwear, yet she got pressured to take off more of her clothes. This made her uncomfortable. In the now-deleted statement, Toxic Support said that she reached out to Minx after the party the next day, and that Minx was very supportive and listened to her at first, but just a few hours later, Minx reached out to her and told her that she wasn't allowed back into the Airbnb, and she didn't want to talk with Toxic. Minx also threatened her that if she took it public, she would leak information about her that would ruin both their careers. Toxic also added that Minx essentially manipulated and blackmailed her into staying silent, but since this news dropped and up until now, Minx never addressed the issue. Then, during one of her streams, fans pointed out that Minx had some bruising on her face, nose, as well as 2 black eyes. And when they asked what happened, she said that she woke up like that, and she literally had no idea how her face came to be so.
Yeah, no, not everything is okay, okay? I had an online call with a doctor, and they were like, yeah, that toe, if it gets infected, I think he was just scaring me, because he did laugh a bit. Well, I have an infected toe too. I have 2 black eyes. I have an injured nose. Pretty sure it's not broken, but you never know. I don't know how it happened. I woke up like this.
This again raised some concerns among fans about her well-being, if she was lying or not. Others took a more whimsical approach, saying that she looked like Elphaba in the video, taking her word that she's fine. After all of these drama in her life, Minx was unraveling again. She started accusing LA streamers of being fake and unreliable, and eventually she was checked into a psych ward. It wasn't rehab, it wasn't content, it was a real breakdown. Her career, which was once bulletproof, now hangs by a thread. In the months following her release from the psych ward in late 2022, JustaMinx attempted to regain her footing. But the damage was already done. The combination of public backlash, personal instability, and erratic behavior had deeply fractured her image, and professional relationships were beginning to fall apart. Her partnership with Optic Gaming quietly ended, citing visa issues yet again, and the stress of her declining mental health was taking an obvious toll on her. That October, things took a darker turn. Minx's home was burglarized. Her laptop, microphone, and streaming equipment were stolen. Her cats escaped during the break-in. She later claimed that one of the intruders had been secretly living under her Airbnb. In a moment of desperation, she crawled into a tight crawl space to search for her missing cat, emerging with injuries and paranoid rants about stalkers. Her stories were disturbing, fragmented, and difficult to verify.
Say.
Johnny, can you see any big bag left in there, no?
Oh, there's a lot of bags back here. There's more sleeping bags in the corner.
Fans didn't know whether to laugh, worry, or walk away. A Reddit thread shedding proper details on the events recapped that her window was smashed using the security camera. They also found a huge stash of cannabis and other drugs, one of her cats went missing, and the police barely did anything to help out, leaving her mostly stranded. Slowly and steadily, Minx was unraveling publicly. Sometime in March of 2023, she was banned from Twitch for a 3rd time. Many people thought that this time would be her last chance, as she was banned for streaming while being visibly intoxicated.
Bitch, 20 minutes is a long journey. I didn't leak anything. Whiskey!
During the broadcast, she slurred her words, rambled incoherently, and appeared to flirt with self-harm. The platform had tolerated her chaotic style for years, but this crossed a line. With 2 prior bans on record, many assumed the third would be permanent. It wasn't, but it sent a clear message. Her content was no longer just edgy or unfiltered, it was dangerous. That month, her drinking escalated in alarming ways. She paid a full year's rent up front, an impulsive decision made while drunk, and also allegedly donated 1,000 subs to Jschlatt during one of his streams, seemingly without processing what she was doing. Some saw it as generosity. Others saw a cry for help. Although the rumors that she donated subs to Kai has since been debunked as false, there were still worries about her alcoholism. The defining moment of her downfall came on March 11th, at the Streamer Awards after-party hosted by QTCinderella. Minx had promised to stay sober. It was her opportunity to show she could be taken seriously again, to demonstrate growth in front of the very people who had once championed her. In a leaked text chain on Discord, you can see how QTCinderella didn't want Minx to be a part of the show, and she'd made Minx promise that she wasn't going to drink at all at the party, even making her pinky swear that she wasn't going to drink. And it all seemed to be going all good and well at the awards ceremony, until the after-party. That was when the night imploded. Minx got to the venue, probably already intoxicated, and some reports say she began throwing propane heaters into the pool, which forced security to intervene in the matter. She resisted as they tried to escort and eventually forced her out of the party, which resulted in a hard fall that caused her to have a seizure. Emergency respondents were immediately called to the scene, and there was a sudden commotion at the party. The chaos forced QTCinderella to shut the entire party down. The event, which had cost upwards of $50,000, was ruined in just a few minutes. What should have been a celebration of the community turned into a full-scale meltdown, and Minx was yet again at the center of it all. In the fallout, Minx took to Twitch to narrate her ordeal and claim she had suffered a seizure that night, and she was hospitalized, and that it was the worst one she had suffered since she was 15.
I do want to say that people say I didn't have a seizure. I definitely did when I was pushed over. I did see the response saying I was there the whole time. That doctor from Cedars-Sinai definitely confirmed it was a seizure. I feel like I don't do tours properly, and yes, this will be a short stream. There's only one way to stop this, a boxing match. I don't really think it's a good time to joke. But people are saying apologize to QE. Obviously, for people that know, I have been blocked. I'm just waiting for the invoice for the after party, and I will pay it. I haven't been able to apologize to people privately yet.
QTCinderella, on the other hand, countered that it wasn't a seizure, but drunken belligerence. In a now-deleted tweet, she said that Minx didn't have a seizure, and that the pictures that she had tweeted was from her getting liquids at the ER. In her fury, she blocked Minx on all platforms, not giving her a chance to apologize for the events that just occurred. Still trying to assure everyone that she wasn't lying, Minx tweeted again showing pictures of her on a hospital bed, assuring fans that she wasn't lying about the seizure. She also announced that she would be leaving the US and going back to Ireland where she can get adequate care. Their friendship, once a key part of Minx's support network, was over. Minx even offered to pay for the damages, publicly admitting that she had become a borderline alcoholic. But QTCinderella wasn't having any of that, saying that Minx paying for the party wouldn't change anything, and was quoted saying that she found it very insidious that Minx would ask her for an invoice of the party when she has her PayPal. Minx later flew back to Ireland, where she underwent medical evaluation shortly after, including tests for seizure disorders potentially worsened by alcohol. But apologies did little to stop the bleeding. Her reputation had hit rock bottom. Fans turned on her, and only a few did as much as sympathize with her. One user wrote, "Don't apologize to us. You made a promise to QT and broke it, and made a fool of yourself. I want to support you, but you really need help. I do hope you get well, finally understand your mistakes." Another pointed out that it was still her fault even if she had a seizure because she wasn't supposed to be drinking knowing the risks of epilepsy. Others were just sad about her current predicament and how it was nothing like this just a year prior, asking her to get help. In April, she tried pivoting again, this time into boxing. She signed a multi-fight deal with Misfits Boxing, intending to turn her Creator Clash success into a long-term brand. Her first fight, scheduled for April 21st against fellow content creator Fangs was scrapped due to renewed visa complications. At that time, she took to Twitter to air her disappointments as she was unable to make it back in time for the fight. Once again, she was forced to return to Ireland, but that move only made things worse. Back in Dublin, she began streaming from her family home, but the content was erratic. Fans noticed bruises on her arms and legs. She blamed them on boxing training, but speculation ran rampant still, and just as it settled, then came one of her most chaotic broadcasts to date. In July 2023, she streamed a live argument with her sister Lauren. What began as a petty fight turned into an unhinged tirade. Minx accused her sister of leaking private messages and compromising her career. The conflict escalated physically. In a shocking moment, she accused Lauren of being a pedophile, what later turned out to be a completely baseless claim. While the two sisters went at it, her mom rushed to the phone and frantically tried to end the stream.
Why are you lying? This all happened because because your boyfriend is underage. What? Yeah. That's not true. Oh no. Oh no. That's not true. You're like man. Stop.
Get in there.
Oh my god. I need to stop the stream. I don't know how. And it says end. Sorry about this, guys.
The stream was struck down almost immediately with copyright strikes, but clips of it and summaries already circulated online. By now, even her most loyal fans were starting to turn away and turning on her. One called her out again for her drinking, saying she's going insane. Another pointed out that she really needed to get help soon, as her alcoholism seemed to be affecting her life at home too, and it wasn't just the fact that she was alone in LA that caused her problems. And another said that she needs to stop being supported as she's been given enough grace. Her YouTube channel, that was once full of high-energy recaps and collaborations, was stagnating. Views declined steadily. Her last video there was uploaded over a year ago. Since then, it's been radio silence on that platform. Her sponsors pulled away. Collaborators ghosted. Streams now went unannounced. Her visibility dropped not because the internet had moved on, but because she was no longer considered safe to work with. By early 2024, it was clear that the industry had turned its back on her. JustaMinx was no longer seen as a chaotic but lovable fixture on Twitch culture. She had become a liability. Her name, once associated with funny outbursts and raw relatability, was now met with eye rolls, discomfort, or silence. She wasn't just struggling, she was unraveling in full view of the internet. By now, Minx had also developed a reputation for aligning herself with controversial figures and doubling down in the worst moments due to her stance from the previous SA scandal involving a fellow streamer. And that same month, she commented on sexual assault allegations against Dream SMP member George Not Found, allegedly mocking those who believed them without evidence. She later deleted the comment and clarified that she was only joking, but the damage was already done. Then, in a very strange pivot, she made vague allegations against Wilbur Soot, accusing him of making a woman cry at a party. The story was thin, unverified, and widely dismissed as a distraction tactic.
I did see what happened with Will. 100% support Shelby, through this. And honestly, I think it's fucking amazing for once how Twitter immediately supported the victim. He was not mentally ill. He probably wasn't mentally ill, but he probably had trauma from, being a veteran. But if you want my honest opinion, which once again, I know I should shut my mouth, I've had my own issues with him in the past, before I moved to America. And a lot of the people who have responded to the tweet were there at the time, and they basically took his side. And I lost a lot of friends over it and stuff. It was just weird how it was kind of sheep following sheep, where I know a lot of them knew about this beforehand. Once again, I'm not saying it where, I'm glad that everyone is supporting that side, but there's just some people where I'm like, oh, I know you knew. And also, the other reason that I don't want to talk about it is because one of the people who was involved in this whole thing is someone who hasn't fully come out with their side of the story yet. So if I said the story, I'd just be like basically saying unnamed people.
Fans reacted once again, saying she's just trying to get some clout, with one fan taking offense at her heading that called the case a drama when it involved someone that was abused in real life. Others humorously try to explain that no matter what she did, she might not be able to get back in the good graces of the internet folks. Throughout 2024, she continued streaming, but the energy was gone. Her content was increasingly unfocused. Long rants, unfiltered commentary, and frequent signs of intoxication. Her viewership began a steady decline. Once pulling in tens of thousands live, she now hovered in the hundreds. Each month, she lost around 1,000 subscribers. By mid-2024, she'd become a case study in self-destruction within streaming culture. She had talent, timing, and a one-of-a-kind personality, but no amount of charisma could outweigh the mounting pile of damaged relationships, alienated collaborators, and unresolved personal issues. And there were no more safety nets. She was no longer associated with Team Envy, Optic was done with her, OTK had cut ties years ago. Even long-standing allies like QTCinderella and Austin Show had severed connections. The Dream SMP sphere, once a major source of visibility, was either distancing or imploding. There was nowhere left to pivot. As 2025 rolls on, JustaMinx remains technically a streamer, but only barely. Her presence online is now a ghost of what it once was. She still streams, though inconsistently, and to a fraction of the audience that once crowded her chaotic lives. Her Twitter and Instagram feeds are sparse, scattered with vague posts, old selfies, or odd musings. Whether she finds peace off-camera or one day returns with a clearer head, one thing's for sure. For now, she's still struggling, and no one's rushing in to save her.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Your life is nothing. You serve zero purpose. You should kill yourself now and give somebody else a piece of that oxygen and ozone layer that's covered up so that we can breathe inside this blue trapped bubble. Because what are you here for? Kept stealing my clips for years, putting shit on the internet. I want to read something to you guys and use it as a freaking example because I'm in disbelief that I'm seeing this shit, but it's the perfect example of people believing these false ass narratives like I'm some freaking dictator, like I'm some crazy maniac, like I committed all these crazy crimes.
When you hear the name LowTierGod, you probably think of two things: fighting games and controversy.
Bro, how the did that happen?
LTG, as most people call him, is probably one of the most infamous personalities to ever emerge from the fighting game community, and maybe the wider internet itself.
Nigga, look what this game be allowing. You pick a character and you pull off the W. This sorry ass beat me because he playing with Bison. This barely got 14K. This character is...
Depending on who you ask, he's either an unapologetic entertainer who plays a character for laughs, or he's the embodiment of everything toxic about gaming culture.
Ah! Shit! Trying to quit and I couldn't.
From the very moment he appeared on the scene, LowTierGod carried himself with a confidence that simply bordered on arrogance.
All you that are new here, I am arrogant, okay? I have a god complex, okay? I'm a narcissist, okay? So, I should be. This is my only soul, my only body, my only life. I I should be flabbergasted when I look in the mirror.
He was more than just another guy playing Street Fighter. He wanted to be the face of the scene, the villain everyone loved to hate. He trash-talked his opponents with intensity never seen before, often overshadowing the matches themselves. And when his infamous Meltdowns went viral, like his grudge match against veteran player Viscant, where he talked big only to decisively be defeated, the internet latched on, replaying and remixing his losses until they became memes.
LowTierGod versus Viscant.
There's no way. Oh, he doesn't have Ultra.
Commentary provided by Mike Russ and Reese.
And that's it. Insane is popping off. He is popping off
Grudge
right
match
now.
took place at Wednesday Night Fight.
The shirt's tucked in. Handshake. The shirt's tucked in. Why would we shake hands?
But his story isn't just about embarrassing defeats, it's about the chaos that followed him wherever he went. On Twitch, his streams became spectacles of rage quits, profanity, and rants that regularly pushed the boundaries of platform rules.
And I'll lose again to trigger.
He wasn't above charging his own viewers to speak in chat or berating his supporters for not donating enough and even talking ill about his own race.
What the is wrong with you? What's wrong with society, you dumb, ignorant black? This is why black people are last place. Because of dumb, ignorant, retarded, worthless pieces of...
Clips of him snapping mid-match or insulting his fans would circulate faster than anything else, and his bans from Twitch became almost as legendary as his rants.
There's no way.
Finish her.
Bro, how did I die? What happened? Bro, look, anytime somebody fatalities me, I'm just gonna do that. I know you're watching my stream. Don't waste my time. It's a player match. Let's get to it.
And then there are the moments that turned him into a despicable character. His outburst against disabled Street Fighter player Brawly Legs, where he mocked his disability live on stream, drew national attention and condemnation from nearly every corner of the gaming community.
I'm good, dude. I can't accept losses where I bodied you and you just get some fake slobbering all over controllers. I'm good. I'd rather quit, lose another 500 points. I'm hella straight, dude. I'm hella straight. I'm hella cool. You just didn't deserve that. I outplayed you, I bodied you, and you got lucky. That's not skill to me. That's not outplaying me. That doesn't mean you're better than me.
His infamous rant is still cited years later as one of the most toxic moments in FGC history.
Posted. Motherfucker is a worthless human being. Worthless piece of specimen. He could put whatever the he wants. No one gives a about no goddamn Brawly Legs. Stop even saying legs. Just call. Why even call him Brawly? The out of here. That's a disgrace to DBZ. Give a about this ugly slobbering ass put on Twitter. Just fiending for attention. Of course I'm gonna.
LowTierGod's beef hasn't just been limited to players inside the fighting game community, it's spilled over into clashes with mainstream creators like Gideon.
You might forget this interview and this whole conversation we had, but I just hope that you don't forget the taste of my dick in your mouth.
He even clashed with Corey Kenshin, and one of the more notable incidents was his feud with Jschlatt, the massively popular Twitch streamer and YouTuber.
Yo, this nigga looks like a supervillain, boy. Bro, this nigga looks like a supervillain.
You should kill yourself.
To understand how LowTierGod went from playing Street Fighter at his local arcade to becoming one of the most controversial figures in gaming. Quite a number of people have found it hard to believe, but LTG's real name is Dalawan Sparrow. He was born and raised in South Central Los Angeles, an environment that shaped much of the hardened persona he would later project online. He grew up without a father figure, something he's spoken about openly, and the absence left him navigating childhood largely on his own.
Do I suffer from parental father issues? Absolutely not. I can give a about having that. It just would have been nice because I probably would have been rich already. If you're 6'7" and you're not a professional athlete, your parents were just garbage parents.
Even as a kid, he believed he was more intelligent than those around him, which often put him at odds with his peers. Instead of being celebrated for his sharpness, he was frequently ridiculed for his tall, lanky frame, making him a target for bullying throughout school.
I'm sitting at school lunches by myself, no friends in the class, everything. You know, for a kid, that's very detrimental. I ran from them. I literally ran. And I hid, and I ran.
At the age of 7, Dalawan discovered Street Fighter II, a game that would unknowingly become central to his identity. He played it religiously, first at local arcades, and then at home, and over time it grew from a casual pastime into an obsession. When his family moved to Antelope Valley at age 10, he carried that passion with him. The change of environment didn't necessarily erase the hardships, though. He still felt like an outsider, and games became one of the few constants in his life. Around the same time, he admitted to have experienced some form of abuse during his private school years.
Traumatic. Basically, there was lots of females that fondled with me when I was a kid, but I'm not the type of person that's gonna snitch. I knew something was right, and that happened in private school, man. Shit happens in private schools, but I only know about the...
After high school, life became even more challenging for him. At 21 years old, with limited opportunities, he took a job at Walmart to make ends meet. But in 2005, things took a darker turn when his 17-year-old girlfriend filed a restraining order against him, citing domestic violence prevention. In the filing request, she specified that he called her a slut and said that he was going to kill her and everyone around her. A few years later, in 2008, he also picked up a criminal record, not from his own wrongdoing, but from taking the blame for something someone else allegedly did. He was charged for purchasing stolen goods and served about a month in prison before getting out again. That decision haunted him for years, making it nearly impossible to secure stable employment. With doors closing in front of him, Dalawan looked toward education as a way out. In 2012, he earned a degree in health and fitness, and by 2015, he followed it with another in business management, according to his LinkedIn profile details. Even in this early stage of his life, there's a pattern that would define LowTierGod: ambition mixed with setbacks, a sense of being misunderstood, and a constant need to carve out a space for himself despite the obstacles. These formative years laid the foundation for the persona he would later build: a man hardened by struggle, defiant against the odds, and determined to make his name heard no matter how controversial the route. Back in 2005, he created his very first YouTube account under the username Sparrow25, and not to stream fighting games, but to post blog-style skits and short videos that showcased his interest in acting. At that time, YouTube was still in its infancy, and Dalawan hoped to use the platform as a stepping stone into Hollywood. These early uploads were less about gaming and more about personality, and they reflected his lifelong ambition to be seen as an entertainer. While they didn't gain much traction, they revealed an early hunger for visibility and recognition. By 2013, however, his content shifted dramatically. He rebranded under the name LowTierGod, a title he chose because of his tendency to pick low-tier characters in competitive games as an ironic badge of honor that would later become central to his identity, which gave him recognition, giving him his first taste of attention within the fighting game community. Even though the clip wasn't massive by mainstream YouTube standards, it circulated enough to mark his entrance into the niche world of fighting game content.
I don't give a f about the aftermath from any of you boogie fans that feel sorry for this greasy, you fat, disgusting, ass-smelling, blob, cheese-drinking, Crisco bathing, lard gargling, calorie thieving, cook on a George Foreman grill just to drink out the drip tray. I know there's gonna be a lot of people out there calling me a bully. Well, guess what? I'm not. I just don't feel sorry for fat people, especially fat who sit there all day, gorge and eat, and make money for doing absolutely nothing.
These early uploads were notoriously low budget and rough around the edges. Lacking proper capture cards, Dalawan would later set up a camera in front of his TV screen and record matches that way, the glare and distortion often making the footage hard to watch. Yet, this amateurish approach added to his reputation, as people mocked the quality, but they also began to notice his brash commentary and reactions. By the time he was streaming regularly, LTG had also begun cultivating the abrasive personality that would define his brand. I mean, he was already known on Xbox Live for sending hostile messages, rage-quitting matches, and even exploiting loopholes in games to frustrate opponents.
Only cheat on your mom. Made her believe we was in a fake relationship so I could backshot her creamy, wet, sloppy, big...
These antics frequently got him banned from Xbox Live, forcing him to buy new consoles just to get back online. Instead of deterring him, these bans only reinforced his identity as a provocateur, someone willing to push limits, even if it cost him.
I'm telling you, man, this game be carrying if you just pick the right character. Look at this idiot. This is a scrub that I have no business beating.
During the same era, viewers and community members began comparing him to another notorious YouTuber, DarkSidePhil, DSP.
Why'd you buy a $300 driving wheel instead of saving to fix various plumbing issues in your home? What? That was a mouthful, was it not? First off, I do want to play the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters. I actually own them all on PlayStation.
I mean, the similarities were quite hard to ignore. Both were known for rage quits, blaming losses on external factors, clashing with their audiences, and reacting poorly to criticism.
Oh my god, now I'm pissed. Now I can't even concentrate, and I'm pissed off. I'm pissed. Do you want me to be honest? I'm pissed off because I play better.
LTG hated the comparison, but the nickname Black DSP kinda stuck. The turning point came in 2014, when LTG made his first appearances at Wednesday Night Fights, one of the FGC's most recognized weekly events. By this time, his online reputation had already preceded him. Players and commentators were aware of his toxic persona, and when he finally showed up in person, many were curious to see if he could back up the trash talk. His matches were recorded and shared widely, and the shoutcasters even joked about his reputation mid-broadcast, amplifying his notoriety. Though his gameplay wasn't extraordinary, the theatrics around his presence at WNF made him a talking point, marking the beginning of his transition from a small-time YouTuber to a larger-than-life villain within the FGC. In these formative years, Dalawan Sparrow went from an aspiring actor posting skits on YouTube to a toxic figure that people couldn't help but watch in the fighting game scene. Which was crazy, because what started as rough, poorly shot videos of casual matches had grown into a character people couldn't stop talking about, whether they loved him, hated him, or just wanted to laugh at his actions. This stage set the groundwork for everything that would follow. The rivalries, the bans, the controversies, and the cult of personality that turned LowTierGod into a spectacle. Starting from the mid-2010s onward, every appearance, feud, and meltdown seemed to solidify his image as the FGC's ultimate villain. One of the earliest and most defining moments of his notoriety came in 2015, during his feud with veteran player Viscant.
It goes back further than that. He's been disrespecting me for a while. I already beat him. I beat him 20-6. I don't even know why we're having this match, except for the fact that he keeps using my name and then he keeps ducking me. I mean, if you're gonna talk, then don't duck.
After weeks of trash talk, LTG agreed to a grudge match against him at Wednesday Night Fights. Leading up to the set, he carried himself with unmatched arrogance, going on rants about how Viscant was washed up and how he, LTG, would make a statement by defeating him. But when the match finally happened, the outcome was brutal. Viscant decisively beat him, exposing LTG's flaws as a competitor.
LowTierGod versus Viscant, taking away Harris and Mike Ross.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. He's gonna Ultra 2 and land.
There's
Just
no
Ultra
way.
2. Oh, he doesn't have Ultra. I'm sorry.
I'm getting a little. You're getting too high.
And that's it. That's it. AJ is popping off.
And after the victory, Viscant had some choice words to say to LTG's face.
I do in my spare time. So you saying that all I do is play video games? You saying that I'm on meth, that I do drugs? No, seriously. That's what I do in my spare time. There's gonna come a point when you forget about what happened, and you're gonna want to come back at me. and you're gonna want to wash the taste of my dick out of your mouth.
Instead of the victory lap LTG had promised, the community got a meltdown. He recorded a video afterward, ranting and addressing the entire internet, blaming everyone but himself. That video went viral, instantly becoming a meme and cementing his reputation as a sore loser. Another key moment in his climb to infamy was his loss against Punisher, another player whose clip of defeating LTG became one of the most replayed videos in the FGC. The footage of him rage quitting and melting down afterward was shared endlessly, overshadowing any of his actual gameplay.
It's so f***ing laggy, I can't even play! Why do broke niggas play video? Bro, get the... Alright.
These clips were just embarrassing defeats when they happened, but now audiences love to revisit it for entertainment purposes. LTG's reactions made every loss bigger than the game itself. His online persona only amplified this trajectory. On Twitch, his streams became known less for Street Fighter strategy and more for the chaos that erupted around him. LTG implemented strange and often hostile rules. He would charge viewers for speaking in chat, berate fans for not donating enough, and frequently rage quit mid-match while hurling insults.
Play me in Street Fighter 6? You want the chance to say, oh, I beat LowTierGod in the game and get that morale boost in life that we all need? So, you teabag me, you're banned. You taunt me, you're banned. You grab me more than 5 times in a row, you're banned. Well, I ain't gonna ban you for that. But I might suspend you for 48 hours. If you're telling me you enjoy my content and you did not donate and you're not green, I'm gonna ban you. Because you don't just get to sit here and enjoy my shit for free. Contribute. Go to green, ass niggas. Why do you get banned if you don't go green? Because for one, you're frauding out somebody else's name. For two, you just came home and that ass said you worked a 12-hour shift, but you're not green. That means you could afford to support my channel by going green and you refuse to. Therefore, we just gonna ban you, my nigga. You should have never told me you had a job. Prepare to be slayed.
The toxicity that made him infamous in matches became the core of his streaming brand, but it also made him a target for Twitch moderation, and he began racking up bans, sometimes for direct violations, other times simply because of the consistent negativity radiating from his streams. But we'll get into all that later in the video. In 2017, his name broke out of the FGC bubble and into wider gaming circles thanks to the Brawly Legs incident. Before their match, LTG was talking smack about his opponent, making fun of his disability and likened him to the Krang aliens from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Find a good price for these hats, and on that face is Krang. I'm trying to find a good price for these hats, but I'm not finding a good price. I gotta order like some crazy.
After losing to Brawly Legs, a player who uses his mouth to play with a specialized controller, LTG rage quit the match and proceeded to unleash a vicious rant mocking his opponent's disability.
I'm good, dude. I can't accept losses where I bodied you and you just get some fake slobbering all over controllers. I'm good. I'd rather quit, lose another 500 points. I'm hella straight, dude. I'm hella straight. I'm hella cool. You just didn't deserve that. Fuck what match he posted. Motherfucker's a worthless human being. Worthless piece of specimen. He could put whatever the he wants. No one gives a about no goddamn Brawly Legs. Stop even saying legs. Just call. Why even call him Brawly? The out of here. That's a disgrace to DBZ. People about this ugly slobbering ass put on Twitter. Just fiending for attention, of course.
The clip spread rapidly, sparking outrage across the internet. It wasn't just the FGC that condemned him, even mainstream gaming outlets and commentators weighed in, and his name became synonymous with insensitivity. And to be honest, there was no defending LTG on this one. This single outburst would follow him for years, resurfacing whenever his name was mentioned. Sadly, Brawly Legs eventually passed in March of 2024 after 35 great years.
This week, we lost one of the most legendary and inspiring fighting game players of all time. RIP to Michael Brolylegs Begum, who passed away at 35 years old. Broly was born with arthrogryposis, a condition that can inhibit muscle growth and restrict joint movement. He never let his condition stop him from doing what he loved. Combining limited movement with his hands, in addition to his facial muscles, he competed at the highest level of Street Fighter in the world, consistently being a top-ranked player online for years.
Eventually, LTG went live again, and he paid his own tributes to the legendary Broly.
Pretty sure you guys got, you're talking to me about what happened with Brolylegs. Was very unfortunate. Unfortunately, Brolylegs has passed away. So let me read this, and then I'll talk about my quick history with Brolylegs, which was basically 10 years ago. That was 2014. So somebody tweeted from his account that says, to the fans of Brolylegs and the people whose lives he touched and inspired, please take the time to share your moments and memories of this amazing person. The family wishes to continue to share his story with the world and celebrate from now till forever.
In his tribute, he talks about their first interaction after they played, and then went to his Twitter account and saw that one of his last tweets was a quoted GIF reacting to the news of LTG getting banned on a game. But LTG took the high road this time, and just went on to sympathize with the family and fans of Broly. This earned him some much needed respect and validation in his circuit.
Yeah, unfortunately, Brolylegs has passed away. My condolences to him and his family. Regardless of what idiots on the internet try to believe, I did really respect the guy. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, very sad that he passed away so early in life. But my condolences to his fans, his family, like that. And I would love to know what happened, but damn, it's pretty f***ed up.
With all the backlash and support he got from his career, LTG somehow managed to appear on mainstream television in the E-League Challenger series on TBS, where he was cast as one of the personalities to spice up the show. True to form, he was eliminated in the very first episode, but his larger-than-life behavior made him stand out even in that short time.
I don't see him talking smack. He's not raging. He's just a regular guy.
LowTierGod, nice try. However, that does put you out of the competition here at the Challenger House. Rob TV, you were safe another day.
Fans and haters alike tuned in, further blurring the line between whether he was being booked for his skill or for the drama he brought with him. Skillful or not, he was also able to book a match against a player named Giddy, and that match also ended on a positive note, as opposed to him rage quitting and talking trash. He actually took the L and shook hands with his opponent before she now lifted him up.
But you know what? Eats the jump roundhouse instead. Guilty takes it over LTG. Lifts him up off the ground, asserting her dominance in more ways than one.
Even fans admitted that this was the nicest he's ever been at the end of a match that he lost. Another major contributor to his infamy was the army of troll channels that sprung up around him. Whenever he uploaded content or streamed, clips would be ripped, edited, and reposted on channels dedicated entirely to mocking him.
Nigga, shut the up, you moron. Get the out of my chat. You don't know the logic behind fighting games. Clearly, you dumb. How about I concrete this hard rock dick down your throat till you're choking and gargling on virtual sperm? Get that ass.
Instead of deterring them, LTG tried to fight back by flagging these videos, but this only made the situation worse. The Streisand effect kicked in as the more he tried to take them down, the more they spread. Soon, his most embarrassing rants and meltdowns were more accessible on troll channels than on his own official page. By the late 2010s, he wasn't just a fighting game player anymore, he was an internet figure defined by multiple controversies. And if there's one moment that defines LowTierGod's reputation for many people, it's the infamous delete yourself rant. It all began as a heated exchange in the middle of a fighting game match, but somehow spiraled into one of the most talked about and damning clips in the history of the FGC. The incident happened during a set against another player online. After losing, LTG unleashed a tirade that quickly went far beyond the usual trash talk. Staring straight into the camera, he delivered a venomous rant, telling his opponent that they should delete themselves from existence, which was a thinly veiled way of telling them to end himself.
You are a worthless ass. Your life literally is as valuable as a summer ant. I'm just gonna stump you. You're gonna keep coming back. I'm gonna seal up all my cracks. You're gonna keep coming back. Why? Because you keep smelling the syrup, you worthless ass. You're gonna stay on my dick until you die. You serve no purpose in life. Your purpose in life is to be in my stream sucking on my dick daily. Your purpose in life is to be in that blowing a dick daily. Your life is nothing. You serve zero purpose. You should kill yourself now and give somebody else a piece of that oxygen and ozone layer.
But he didn't stop there. He went into grotesque detail, describing exactly how the player should do it, and insulting their life, appearance, and worth in the process, adding that someone else could make better use of the oxygen and ozone layer that his opponent was using up by staying alive.
You are a worthless ass. Your life literally is as valuable as a summer ant. I'm just gonna stump you. You're gonna keep coming back. I'm gonna seal up all my cracks. You're gonna keep coming back. Why? Because you keep smelling the syrup, you worthless ass. You're gonna stay on my dick until you die. You serve no purpose in life. Your purpose in life is to be in my stream sucking on my dick daily. Your purpose in life is to be in that blowing a dick daily. Your life is nothing. You serve zero purpose. You should kill yourself now and give somebody else a piece of that oxygen.
The clip went viral across social media, Reddit, and YouTube. Within hours, it was reposted on troll channels, reaction streams, and even gaming news outlets. For many who had never heard of LowTierGod before, this was their first introduction to him. And for those already familiar, it was confirmation of everything they thought he embodied: the cruelty, toxicity, and a willingness to cross lines that most streamers, even the edgiest ones, wouldn't dare to touch. And while the moment was seen as a sour one for most, for others it quickly turned into a meme. Even in the comments, fans flipped the context of the scenario, making it funnier. The worst you can say is no, right? When you accidentally call the suicide hotline instead of the suicide prevention hotline? Therapy was invented in 1882. People in 1881. Kendrick on Meet the Grams. Amidst all the success this reaction got as a meme, the backlash was also immediate. Members of the fighting game community condemned him, with several top players calling for him to be banned from events and from EVO. The clip wasn't just offensive trash talk, it was viewed as a dangerous, irresponsible message, especially in a community where inclusivity and mental health awareness were already hot-button topics. Moderators on platforms like Twitch and YouTube began tightening their scrutiny of his content, and the phrase "delete yourself" became tied to his name. What made the situation worse was LTG's response. Instead of offering an apology, he doubled down, insisting that his words were just entertainment and that anyone offended was being soft. At this point, something else was brewing in his life: his relationship, and LTG stirred the pot even further when one day he left his stream but forgot to turn off his mic or mute himself. This allowed his viewers to listen to his conversation with his girlfriend, Elena. From the audio, you can hear them argue, as she was quite upset that he was not going to be around for their 4-year anniversary because he had already planned to attend that year's EVO.
It's not about forgetting. Usually EVO is in July. The only reason you've been bringing up that shit is for the simple fact that I'm going to goddamn EVO. I don't know why you would do this a day before. You're inconsiderate ass fuck.
Although the relationship ended around that same time, it is important to note that at this point, they were celebrating a 4-year anniversary in 2018. So they must have been dating since 2014 at least. Why this was worrying to many viewers was because LowTierGod was born on November 19th, 1984, as opposed to the claims of him being born in 1990. So at this time, he would have been 34 years old, while his girlfriend Elena would have been only 21. And they'd been dating for 4 years up until that point, so at the start of the relationship, LowTierGod was 30 and she was 17 years old. Although Elaine would come out to address the situation and say that the anniversary was for the day that they met and not the time they started dating, probably trying to cover up for him and not portray him as a potential groomer.
in here, I want to show the glute game. I want to see what the glute game looks like. They said she's 16. Literally at the gym, I wouldn't look at her twice.
But that wasn't the end of his drama with Elaine. Even after they broke up already, in 2020, rumors would start to make rounds about Elaine going out with her new boyfriend, who was her former fitness trainer. When this news broke, fans and trolls tried to get LTG to say something about their union by constantly tagging him and sending him their pictures together. He responded on Twitter asking that they stop sending him a who wants to with a old head lame, adding that he couldn't care less about her. But he would proceed to go talk about her and her new man over and over again over the span of a few months, calling him a downgrade after him.
Everything after me is a complete downgrade in the first place. It's been a pattern in my life, and it's going to continuously be the pattern. The only way you can upgrade after me is you got to get yourself a ball player, somebody from the NFL, you know, some professional.
Finally, one day Elaine responded partly to him in a video, saying that she would address the issue one day.
One day we'll address that weirdo ass.
Oh! Should we address it now? Huh? No, I might make a video on that, but...
Around this time also, it was leaked that he also had a daughter. So after another one of his back and forth with trolls, some internet sleuths went digging again into his life and history, and one account on Twitter came out to post that he had a daughter with a Hispanic woman, and he's kept that undercover for over 10 years. This doxing also revealed that he was in debt over $120,000, and most of it was from owning a 2015 Dodge Challenger. When this news broke, LTG actually addressed it on stream, explaining that it wasn't actually debt, it's just a payment that he was still making, or that he was yet to pay off. As if that isn't the dictionary definition of debt.
Anytime you purchase something, it's gonna go on your TRW as quote-unquote debt, but it's not actual debt, it's just something that you just simply haven't paid off yet that you're making payment.
He also denied any rumors of him having a child with a Hispanic woman, doubling down saying that he's only got 2 cats and he's nobody's father.
I got 2 cats if you want to count that. That's cool. I'm nobody's father. I promise you that.
After some time, the whole issue seemed to die down, but LowTierGod's turbulent relationship wasn't only with his girlfriend, he also struggled with moderators, both on Twitch and later on YouTube. Was one defined by constant friction, hostility, and open defiance. Unlike many streamers who treated moderation teams as enforcers of platform rules, LTG regarded them as personal adversaries, often blaming them for his suspensions rather than acknowledging his own violations. On Twitch, his clashes began with repeated suspensions for targeted harassment and hate speech. Each time a suspension landed, LTG responded not with compliance, but with fiery rants directed at Twitch's staff. He frequently accused moderators of being biased, hypocritical, and out to get him. In his words, they were cowards behind a screen who had no right to dictate his content. This open antagonism only made matters worse, since Twitch tends to escalate punishment against creators who show no signs of reform. One consistent point of conflict was LTG's insistence that he was being treated unfairly compared to other toxic streamers. He claimed that his suspensions were harsher than those of others, framing himself as the target of a double standard. Instead of appealing bans with contrition, he filed appeals laced with insults or went live on alternate platforms to mock the very people who banned him. Moderators took note, and this combative approach meant that his infractions were viewed cumulatively, rather than in isolation. By the late 2010s, LTG had become a marked figure on Twitch. Reports against his account were quickly acted upon, sometimes within hours of an outburst being clipped and flagged. The trust between streamer and moderation was gone. Every infraction was met with immediate, often permanent enforcement. Eventually, Twitch closed the door for good with long-term bans that left him permanently removed from the platform. On YouTube, the clashes were more indirect but just as hostile. LTG constantly accused comment moderators and community enforcers of failing to protect his channel from troll channels and detractors who re-uploaded his content. He berated YouTube staff for what he saw as negligence, demanding mass takedowns of stolen clips while insisting his own rants were entertainment, not harassment. When YouTube removed videos or demonetized streams for violating terms of service, he lashed out in the same way he had with Twitch, declaring the platform corrupt and run by clowns. At times, he would openly challenge YouTube moderators by re-uploading slightly altered versions of content that had already been flagged, daring the platform to take them down again. This pattern created a constant cycle where LTG would post inflammatory content, trolls would mass report or re-upload it, YouTube would enforce action, and LTG would rage against moderators in return, rinse and repeat. Even within his own streams, LTG's relationship with chat moderators was crazy. He often gave his mods strict orders to ban or mute viewers at the slightest provocation, sometimes even for minor criticism.
This nigga said, "Will I play a game today?" Wait, hold on. We got a gifted rose cloak asking me if I'm a game? Mods, the out of here, nigga. Burn that cloak. Ain't no cloak. 7-month gifted is wild, bro.
When mods failed to enforce these rules as aggressively as he wanted, he would berate them live, accusing them of being lazy or disloyal. This created a hostile environment where even those tasked with managing his community felt disposable. Many moderators cycled in and out quickly, unwilling to endure the constant hostility.
The f you still doing in the room? Anybody complimenting this guile is an instant ban. Hold on. Mods, anybody complimenting this guile gets an instant ban.
Across every platform, the theme remained the same. LTG refused to see moderators as neutral rule enforcers. Instead, he painted them as enemies in a personal battle against him. By the late 2010s and early 2020s, his suspensions turned into long-term and even permanent bans, cutting him off from one of the most lucrative platforms for gaming content. Every time he returned under a new account, trolls and detractors would quickly mass report him, and Twitch would swiftly shut the account down. His history was so notorious that he became one of those names like Ice Poseidon or Zillion OP, associated with being permanently unwelcome on Twitch. The repeated bans forced LTG to migrate his audience to other platforms like YouTube Gaming and Trovo, but the damage was already done. Twitch is the central hub for fighting game content, and being cut out of it meant losing legitimacy and exposure. Where others in the fighting game community built careers on Twitch, LTG was left fighting uphill battles on less prominent platforms, leaning heavily on his core audience of loyal fans and the endless network of troll channels that kept his clips alive. After Twitch finally cut ties with him, YouTube became his primary platform and the stage on which he would cultivate the identity that defined the next phase of his career. No longer tethered to the restrictions of live moderation in the same way as Twitch, he found in YouTube both a wider audience and a looser structure that allowed his rants and theatrics to flourish. On YouTube, he began to double down on the very behaviors that had gotten him exiled elsewhere. His content leaned heavily on confrontation and spectacle, with videos centered not so much on fighting game skill, but on his anger, his rants, and his dismissals of others.
Come on, Dale. Dale.
Oh, man, I hate being on the side of the screen with rugs.
What's good, woman beater?
You try to put that fake label on me IRL, it's a dub.
Unlike the polished guides and hype compilations of other FGC creators, his uploads were more like unfiltered theater. He would sit in front of a camera, stare directly at his audience, and cut promos reminiscent of professional wrestling heels, declaring himself the final boss of the FGC, and sneering at viewers who doubted him. He made no attempt to soften his edges. Instead, he embraced the perception that he was the most hated man in the community, and reframed it as his brand. He understood that his viral appeal did not come from his wins, but from his meltdowns, insults, and tirades.
Dale, you hear me, right?
What's good, woman beater? Stop touching kids, you foul ass nigga. You nigga.
The more animated and aggressive the delivery, the more likely it was that troll channels would re-upload the clip, turning his worst moments into content that circulated endlessly across forums, Twitter threads, and YouTube compilations. Strikingly, these detractors often did more to amplify his presence than his own fans.
What's good, woman beater? Stop touching kids, you foul ass nigga. You nigga.
Bro, so the dude matches up with me, bro. If it's that much smoke, just meet up with me IRL. I'm tired of this, bro.
Each loss, each embarrassing rage quit, each insult became fuel for his notoriety. Where another creator might crumble under the weight of ridicule, LTG twisted it into a self-sustaining loop of infamy. He also experimented with monetization in ways that reflected his abrasive persona. On YouTube streams, he was known for charging viewers to interact with him, gatekeeping his time behind donations and memberships, and berating those who contributed nothing. His message was clear. If you weren't paying, you weren't worth his attention. It was an attitude that alienated casual viewers, but helped solidify a smaller core audience that saw him as an anti-hero, a figure unafraid to say the cruel things others would not, a villain who relished being booed. This transactional hostility became part of the entertainment itself, with fans donating just to provoke one of his signature explosions of anger. Over time, his embrace of the villain identity grew so pronounced that it overshadowed his roots in the fighting game community. He stopped being known primarily as a competitor and instead became synonymous with controversy. He referred to himself as the villain of the internet, someone who stood apart from the camaraderie and positivity embodied by figures like Maximilian Dude. While others built their brands on community, LTG built his on conflict. His YouTube channel became less about Street Fighter and more about Persona, an endless theater of disdain where every video was another performance in the role of the hated final boss. Ironically, this era also pushed him into mainstream visibility beyond the FGC. People who had never watched a tournament or played a fighting game knew of LowTierGod through compilations of his Meltdowns. He became a cultural shorthand for toxicity in gaming, invoked as a punchline or cautionary tale in discussions about online communities.
Touch kids? Like, bro, you see the nerd, bro, you know what would happen in person if a told me that? It'd be a wrap. It's just that simple. But let's keep it on the internet, bro. You wanna play them fake pedo games? Yeah, nigga, in person it'd be a complete wrap. That's all I gotta say. You're stalking me in video games to spew through a mic. And bro, this has done it on multiple occasions. Bro, you're a ass IRL, you would get up. That's why you on the internet. If you got that much anger, come see me IRL. Just that simple. If you in Cali was popping, but we know you not. You a ass. Follow me in video games or some. Bro, what's up with these? It's never smoke IRL though. You niggas got hide, take pics and all that. Cause you know I'm you up IRL.
YouTube allowed him to reach audiences far larger than the insular world of fighting games, but it also cemented his reputation as infamous rather than respected. His presence was impossible to ignore, but it was defined almost entirely by negativity. Twitter was no kinder to him. His accounts were reportedly suspended for abusive behavior, often targeting other creators or communities. Each time he was removed, he attempted to return under a new handle, only to be flagged and suspended again. What stood out was not just the number of times he lost accounts, but his refusal to temper his tone in order to preserve them. He would boast about being too real for the platform, painting himself as a victim of censorship rather than acknowledging the consistent rule violations that led to his removals. Even outside of global platforms, his reputation made him unwelcome. In the fighting game community, certain tournaments and events grew wary of the drama he brought with him. Organizers quietly discouraged his attendance or outright banned him from competition, fearing that his presence would overshadow the event or incite hostility. In local circles, stories circulated of players refusing to participate in brackets if LTG was present, a reflection of how his toxic image bled into real-world spaces. YouTube, though more tolerant than Twitch, also hit him with multiple strikes and suspensions. Videos were demonetized, streams were taken down, and in some cases, his channel faced temporary restrictions. The platform's automated systems frequently flagged his rants for harassment or hate speech, and detractors made a sport out of mass reporting his uploads. While he managed to avoid a full permanent ban on YouTube, the constant cycle of enforcement meant he could never escape the shadow of his own behavior. Obviously, with all of this, it would be expected that his antics would lead to constant wars against other YouTubers, trolls, and detractor communities. If his Twitch and tournament controversies gave him infamy, it was the endless cycle of feuds that cemented his place in internet lore. Some of his earliest feuds were with fellow members of the fighting game community who mocked his playstyle or his meltdowns. Players like Viscant, Broly Legs, and others would ridicule his overconfidence, pointing out that LTG often proclaimed himself superior despite middling competitive results. Rather than ignoring the criticism, LTG lashed back, recording angry videos in which he tore down their accomplishments, attacked their personal lives, and dared them to face him in sets. These exchanges circulated widely online, fueling his image as someone who thrived on conflict but rarely backed up his boasts with consistent victories. Over time, his most enduring enemies weren't fellow competitors, but YouTubers who built channels dedicated to mocking him. Troll creators and clip channels such as Detractor Productions, JustaKid, and others thrived on re-uploading his most embarrassing meltdowns, often with commentary that amplified the comedy of his rage. These detractor channels were a constant thorn in LTG's side. He accused them of copyright theft, harassment, and obsession, ranting that they only existed because of him. Ironically, their re-uploads often reached audiences far beyond his own, turning his insults, rage quits, and bizarre monologues into memes that circulated across forums too. In many cases, trolls would bait him on purpose, stream sniping his lobbies, joining his chats just to provoke him, or even donating money mid-stream simply to deliver an insult. In one instance, when he just got back from a long ban on Twitch, he allowed donors to show their profile photos on his screen after they donated. And someone thought it was slick to change their profile picture to something explicit. Then he made a donation, and when his NSFW profile appeared on screen, he reported the stream for streaming vile content, while he resulted in LTG getting banned again.
Ban anybody talking shit. Thank you. I see somebody else here, some dude named Bormax, ban him.
His response to detractors was always scorched earth. He would record lengthy tirades calling them nobodies, failed men, or dusty trolls living in their mom's basements. He threatened to take down their channels through copyright strikes, and sometimes even boasted about getting smaller detractors suspended. But the more he tried to silence them, the more fuel they had. Every rant was clipped, every meltdown uploaded, every ban evasion documented. Far from silencing his critics, his aggressive responses only made him more entertaining to them. LTG also found himself at odds with larger YouTubers and streamers outside the FGC. A notorious feud was his back and forth with Darkside Phil, another infamous internet personality. Both men, often derided for their saltiness and egos, became natural rivals in the eyes of the internet. Trolls would instigate by comparing them, creating parody content, or baiting one into talking about the other. LTG fueled the fire by mocking DSP as irrelevant, while detractors delighted in lumping them together as cautionary tales of failed internet egos.
Podcast for 50 bands talk crazy about me. Nigga, all you have to do is just sit there with your goatee.
Told you.
And just talk.
You mentioned the goatee.
And you didn't want a free 50 bands? Like, bro, don't talk to me, bro.
So what is he? Wait, so hold on.
The later years of LowTierGod's story also saw him collide directly or indirectly with some of the biggest names in streaming and YouTube. Most notably, Corey Kenshin, Jidion, and Kai Cenat. What made these clashes significant was not just who he picked fights with, but how they illustrated the gulf between LTG's dwindling relevance and the explosive growth of creators who represented the new wave of internet entertainment. The Corey Kenshin drama began when LTG took aim at the beloved YouTuber, whose reputation was built on positivity, faith, and family-friendly content. After Corey made a video calling out YouTube for being racist. In Corey's video, he alleges that YouTube was being racist and they played favorites among creators.
I'm going to try my best to articulate this video as thoroughly, as plainly, as eloquently as possible. I don't want there to be any lost context. I don't want to just look like I'm coming out of nowhere having a temper tantrum because these things are happening. The allegations I am levying towards YouTube are extremely serious, and I'm taking this video extremely seriously. YouTube, you guys either play favorites, you are racist, or it's a mix of the two. These are the three options, YouTube. Which one is it?
Other YouTubers like Jidion agreed with Corey and made videos to corroborate his claims, but LTG responded to this and described Corey as weak, saying that he has no reason to be complaining, and that if anyone should be pointing fingers at YouTube, it should be him.
guy Corey Kenshin. What is wrong with you, bro? I am very disappointed. I don't care about you supporting me. Who cares? I am a go-getter. I live in California. I gotta get this money. I gotta survive. Everything I do is rebuttal. Everything I've ever done was rebuttal. Roast, everything literally is rebuttal. How hard is it for these people not to understand this? What the did I do in my past that would actually warrant this guy to say this? Somebody, yo.
To LTG, Corey's success represented everything he felt cheated out of, like the mainstream recognition, sponsorships, and a loyal audience that he achieved by embodying the exact opposite of LTG's abrasive persona. The backlash was immediate. Corey Kenshin's fans, one of the most fiercely loyal communities on YouTube, flooded LTG's mentions and turned his criticism into another meme cycle. LTG's insults fell flat not because they lacked venom, but because Corey's image as a genuinely kind creator left little room for the kind of scandal or hypocrisy LTG usually exploited in his feuds. In the end, the feud painted LTG as bitter and out of touch, yelling at someone whose brand was nearly untouchable. With Gideon, the dynamic was even more lopsided. Gideon, a troll entertainer in his own right, thrived on pranks, raids, and chaos, all things LTG should have respected, given his own history of embracing infamy.
You know, I didn't have the best introduction to you when we first met, because you were kind of on me, then you were on my homie Kai.
Did I?
But instead, LTG dismissed Gideon as another empty personality with no real substance, lashing into him as well for siding with Corey and calling out YouTube, once again pointing out that he is the real victim in all of this.
I really don't understand why a guy like Gideon, that is very popular, that has a huge fan base, verified on multiple platforms, gets millions of views per video, and then he has a side clip channel video and endorsements, and can still stream on YouTube, has a problem with getting banned on Twitch. I want you to sub to my premium channel, and I'm upset because Twitch still didn't ban me after I got...
Gideon's response was the opposite of Corey's. Rather than ignoring LTG, he and his fanbase laughed at him, treating him like a relic of an older internet era. Gideon even compared LTG to a meme fossil, someone remembered more for outbursts and bans than any real legacy. Trolls happily clipped these jabs and fed them back into LTG's orbit, sparking endless angry rants from him.
Hey, before I leave, man, I just want to let you know something. You might forget this interview, but I just hope that you don't forget the taste of my dick in your mouth.
In essence, Gideon took LTG's whole act of rage, trolling, controversy, and showed how it could be monetized into mainstream success, something LTG never managed. That contrast made the feud sting even harder. Eventually, he and Gideon made peace and even did a video interview together, where LTG was seen in a much calmer state. He was even a little vulnerable in the stream, like when Gideon asked him about his reaction to the video of a man who fatally shot himself after he found out that he was being cheated on.
But why laugh? Why laugh?
That's the way I processed it. I processed it because he got a call with a woman that didn't want to be with him anymore, so he said fuck it and blew his dome off. So for me, the only way I could process it was to laugh. I couldn't console and feel sad for a guy that ended his life over a...
LTG explained that he could only laugh at the situation as that was how he could process such information of a man killing himself over a female.
Like I said yesterday, the reason why I ultimately laughed at that video is because I honestly think that dude blew his brains out because a bitch told him some shit. Now, if that bitch was like, baby, I love you, he would have never did it. But obviously, I was laughing at the fact that he did that shit over a bitch.
And as strange as it was nice to see him be a person and simply explain when he does the things he does. The most high profile of these conflicts came with Jschlatt, Twitch's golden child and one of the most popular streamers of his generation.
Do y'all know that Ruby seen the clip? Bro, Ruby, she sent me this clip, bro. We gotta chill.
In more recent years, LTG's name has even been thrown into the orbit of creators like Jschlatt and other rising streamers. Though not always direct feuds, LTG's arrogance often led him to dismiss the success of younger, more popular figures, accusing them of lacking substance or being propped up by bot audiences. He also claims that Twitch could never use someone like Kai on the cover of Twitch because he's black, and he was bad marketing, because in his streams the N slur is said like a million times. Kai saw this video and even reacted to it by literally saying the N-word in response.
whatever, like ConstantAt probably wouldn't get blown on the front page of Twitch. Can anybody in here guess why? I don't care how lit he is. Can anybody guess why? That they wouldn't run behind
Why?
ConstantAt to put him on the front page or acknowledge him or anything like that?
Why?
It's bad marketing. When you go in the stream, the N-word is said 1,000,000 freaking times.
Trolls latched onto these statements, amplifying them until they looked like one-sided feuds, with LTG once again positioned as the bitter villain yelling from the sidelines. Perhaps the most striking aspect of these battles is how self-perpetuating they became. LTG's detractors didn't need to fabricate much, as his own behavior provided the content. A rage quit, a screaming match, a bizarre rant about genetics or superiority would surface. Trolls would clip it, and within hours it would be trending in other circles. He could not stop them without silencing himself, and silence was something he refused to embrace. His need to respond, to fire back, to maintain dominance was what kept the cycle alive. Kai's fans, an army much larger than LTG's base, immediately latched onto the insults. Trolls swarmed LTG's streams and social media with spam, turning Kai's name into a weaponized chant in his chats. This was a recurring pattern for LTG. By throwing shade at a much larger creator, he opened the door for that creator's fanbase to weaponize his words against him. Every meltdown, every angry rant about Kai became content for detractors who clipped and re-uploaded it. Soon, compilations of LTG raging about CautionNat circulated widely, reframing the feud as a one-sided war in which LTG came across less as a rival and more as an embittered critic shouting at someone leagues ahead of him. By the time CautionNat exploded into mainstream popularity, breaking Twitch viewership records and becoming a cultural figure, LTG was already years into his role as the internet villain, banned from Twitch and known more for his meltdowns than any competitive success. His criticisms of Kai, calling him a clown or dismissing his achievements, came across not as confident jabs, but as jealousy from a man sidelined by time. To Kai's fanbase, LTG was what you would refer to as a hater, a bitter relic from a bygone internet era who couldn't stomach the rise of a new generation. Kai himself didn't invest much into the feud. A very brief reaction was all that he got before Kai moved on. This act only deepened LTG's frustrations. Where LTG would launch into long tirades about Kai and his community, Kai largely ignored him or laughed it off, occasionally letting his fans clown on LTG in passing.
Yo, this nigga looks like a supervillain, boy. Bro, this nigga looks like a supervillain.
You should kill yourself.
The more LTG tried to assert himself as a rival, the more he was mocked as an irrelevant sideshow. After this run-in with top streamers like Kai, Gideon, and Corey Kenshin, LTG had somehow become a figure worthy of note in the creator sphere again. And in 2024, he shocked the gaming and creators world when he appeared at the Streamer Awards night to present the award for Best Player Streaming Player.
Brought to you by Junk Food Arcades is LowTierGod.
Why do I hear boos? I hear a lot of boos. All right, let's step up the cheers. All right, this is a big surprise. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right.
His announcement and subsequent walk up to the stage was met by an air of confusion, murmurs, and slight boos from the audience, but he was able to overcome that and get on with the presentation of the award.
Brought to you by Junk Food Arcades is LowTierGod.
Why do I hear boos? I hear a lot of boos. All right, let's step up the cheers. All right, this is a big surprise. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right. So, ironically, I'm considered one of the worst fighting game streamers of all time. But I'm here to present the Best Fighting Game Streamer Award. All right. Did you guys expect me to be here, or? What a big surprise, what a big surprise. So, your Fighting Game Streamer of the Year award goes to, well, hold on, not yet. The nominees are That's why. Hungry Box. Maximilian Doom. And Sajam. All right, drum rolls, please. All right. The suspense is killing me. Is it killing you? Right. The winner of the best fighting game streamer is XY.
Bonjour. His appearance at the award night caused a lot of heated debates over the decision to let him up on that stage. In online forums like Reddit, fans called his selection to present an award an embarrassment. Some other fans sided with him and even sympathized with him, saying that he was a good guy in real life and he was just being a douche as an act to stay relevant. Villain or hero, the fact remains that LowTierGod presented at the Streamer Awards, and that could not be taken away from him. You see, on the surface, LTG presents himself as the archetypal internet villain, who is an untouchable figure that thrives on hate, leans into cruelty, and who claims superiority in every possible way. He talks about himself as genetically gifted, mentally sharper, and spiritually beyond those who criticize him. He wears insults like armor, often turning them around into claims of proof that he is relevant, that detractors wouldn't exist if he weren't the center of their attention. This persona is calculated, larger than life, and deliberately abrasive, designed to provoke reactions and keep his name circulating in the endless churn of internet discourse. In more recent years, the trajectory of LowTierGod's career has become less about competition or even content creation, and more about escalation. His saga has escalated from competitive controversy into a case study of what happens when someone doubles down on toxicity for too long, until it consumes both the persona and the man. What was once entertainment now feels tragic, like an endless cycle of rants, bans, and meltdowns. Each one smaller and sadder than the last, yet all of them feeding into the myth of LTG as one of the internet's most infamous villains. Mentally, what once seemed like a performance has shown cracks. His monologues reveal bitterness not just toward the FGC or trolls, but toward life itself. The bravado about being genetically superior or destined for greatness now often reads as a defense mechanism for the reality of being overshadowed, banned, and remembered more as a meme than as a competitor. Detractor channels, meanwhile, documented this decline with relish, framing every new outburst as evidence of a man unraveling in a really sad way, with an entire audience watching. At a time in history, everyone knew SSSniperWolf. She rose to fame as a teenager, exploding on YouTube with her Call of Duty gameplay clips and the infectious personality that came with them. In a short period of time, she got millions of fans, billions of views, and a spotlight as one of YouTube's biggest stars.
That's funny.
While some love to love her, some others just really love to hate her, because behind the bright smile and quirky gamer girl vibe lies a trail of scandals, betrayals, and a moment that almost led to her being cancelled and removed from YouTube. From being accused of stealing content from TikTok creators without giving them credit, which has raked in millions of her views while they got nothing.
Videos, she plays other people's TikToks and provides extremely base-level commentary.
This dude is running sideways.
If you want to support the original creators of the TikToks, too bad, because the only links you'll find in the description are all SSSniperWolf. And my favorite part is that half of the TikToks she includes either crop out the original username or just straight up don't have one.
To throwing shade at other YouTubers and going as far as even slapping them with copyright strikes to shut them up. Then there's the legal stuff. She was charged with armed robbery in 2013 after a run-in with a security guard. And disorderly conduct with her boyfriend in 2016. Oh, let's not forget when she allegedly ignored a terminally ill 10-year-old fan who wished to talk to her, only caving after the internet roasted her. But the moment that left everyone in awe was when she showed up outside another YouTuber's house and filmed it for her millions of followers, putting his life in danger. That act got her demonetized temporarily, and some say YouTube let her off easy. And get this, a lawsuit claims her ex built her channel and she tried to cut him out completely. Is Leah a misunderstood YouTube star or a master manipulator? Let's find out, starting with the scandal that shook YouTube to its core and made fans question what YouTube really stands for. But before that, let's step back for a bit of backstory because context is everything in the story we're about to unfold. You see, Leah's early videos were all about sniping noobs and cracking jokes, which earned her a loyal fan base. By 2017, she switched to reaction videos. You know, watching TikToks and giving her hot takes. That move sent her channel to the stratosphere, with over 35 million subscribers and 26 billion views. She's got fans everywhere. 5.6 million on Instagram, 19 million on TikTok, and she even snagged a Forbes top influencer nod. To her fans, she's a queen seen as funny, relatable, and a rare female face in gaming. But to her critics, she's a whole different story.
Because a lot of people have been stating that what she does isn't really reacting to content, it's mainly just stealing it, freebooting it. And the entire internet has come together like this giant singularity and all collapsed onto SSSniperWolf as well as some other React channels.
But here's where it gets a bit more interesting. A few years back, Leah had a feud with Jack's Films, whose real name is Jack Douglas, by the way, and that really took things to a whole new level. You see, Jack's a YouTuber with almost 5 million subs on his main channel, and known for his funny skits and calling out what he sees as lazy content on YouTube. Around 2022, he set his sights on Leah's reaction videos. You know those videos where she watches TikToks and goes, "Oh my gosh, that's crazy."
Another one is in my lucky day. Oh, that was somebody's spit. I think you're getting a little too excited, like, oh, look at all this free money. And somebody had to.
Jack wasn't having it. He said her content was low effort and basically stealing from TikTok creators without giving them credit or adding anything new. To prove his point, he started a parody channel called JJ Jack's Films, where he'd react to TikToks in a super exaggerated way, poking fun at Leah's style. By his third video, he had like 50,000 subscribers, showing people were into his roast.
Bingo! Let's go! So, first off, we do have the coveted and increasingly rare credit in the video. Serene Room on TikTok. We'll link Serene Room in the description below. Very strong chance SSSniperWolf will read the caption verbatim.
I opened my beads the wrong way.
Yeah. Please go to your bingo cards and please select reading caption word for word. It's like clockwork. Oh no, now they're not in their little dividers anymore. I really want that close up. Oh no, I really want that. Let's see.
Oh no.
Holy sh.
Now, Leah didn't take this lying down. She clapped back on Twitter, saying Jack was just jealous because she, a female YouTuber, was getting more views. She even threw shade at his hairline in a now deleted tweet, like, "The only thing funny about you is your hairline." She said his thumbnails were bad, and she wouldn't click on any of his videos. She pointed out the fact that he created another YouTube channel to troll reactor creators like SSSniperWolf and co, but she reframed it like he was really chasing that YouTube revenue and now he's mad because it didn't blow up. That wasn't the end of her rant online. She went on to say she'd demand 20% from Jack since he gets all his ideas from her. But Jack wasn't backing off. He responded to Leah with further trolling. He made a video in response to her tweets where he was just reacting to her reactions and putting up her tweets every 10 seconds.
Hello friends, it's me. And today we're gonna try not to get uncomfortable. It's gonna be very hard. Can you make it to the end? This dude's picking up quarters. Ew, a quarter. Ew, another quarter. Oh.
10, okay. The only thing that is funny about you is your hairline. If your content was entertaining, it would reflect in your views.
Then, in July 2023, he dropped a video called Let's Talk About SSSniperWolf, which got 2 million views. In it, he laid out how Leah's videos were repetitive, didn't credit TikTok creators, and broke YouTube's fair use rules.
Alright, let's do this one last time. This is SSniperWolf. She's a YouTuber with over 30 million subscribers. She uploads daily, and her videos get at least 1 million views each. So, what does she do? She steals TikToks and reacts to them.
Oh, it looks like a cartoon!
Let's talk about how egregious this freebooting is. In each of her hundreds and hundreds of videos, she plays other people's TikToks and provides extremely base-level commentary.
This dude is running sideways! What? Wow.
He even reached out to some of those creators who said Leah never asked permission to use their stuff.
Maybe she gets permission from the creators to feature their work. You already know the answer to that. We reached out to creators who've had their work featured in SSniperWolf's videos. And when we asked them if SSniperWolf and/or her team had contacted them about featuring their work, every creator said no, they were not contacted. Most of them were blindsided by the fact that SSniperWolf had been using their content.
The comment section was lit, with people calling Leah out for being the popular kid who steals your joke and gets all the credit. One user wrote, "This is so disgusting. The theft is already bad enough, but in my opinion, what makes it worse is the laziness. A girl in front of the camera saying nothing, not even commenting, just nothing while showing other people's work and getting rich." The YouTube platform was also called out in the comment that read, "And of course, what can we expect from YouTube? Let's boost her. She's getting us the views, she's making us money. Who cares who steals if you get a cut, no?" Things were already heated, but then Leah took it way too far. On October 13th, 2023, she posted an Instagram story to her 5 million followers that said, "Should I go visit at Jack's Films? He lives 5 minutes away from my shoot." Then she actually showed up outside Jack's house, filming herself and saying, "I'm right in front of your house, come out and talk to me." She even mentioned some ice cream delivery, like she was taunting him to come outside.
Last night, SSniperWolf, a massive YouTuber, showed up outside of our home, recorded a video of our home, and then posted it to her 5.6 million Instagram followers, goading me with the line, "Let's talk like adults." In my 17 years on YouTube, I've never once had someone come to my home and vaguely threaten me. SSniperWolf needs to be deplatformed.
This wasn't just a prank. This was outright doxing, straight up sharing someone's location with millions of people, absolute strangers online. Imagine if just one crazy fan decided to show up at Jack's place. That's the kind of danger she put him in. Jack was live streaming when this happened, and his chat blew up, with viewers sending him messages like, "She's outside your house, dude. Call the cops." You can hear the panic in his voice as he ends the stream, saying, "This is horrible. I'm not going out there." He and his wife were legit scared for their safety. The next day, Jack tweeted, "SSniperWolf just doxed me on her Instagram. Creepy, gross, violating. You steal content and stalk YouTubers. At YouTube, demonetize this dangerous creator." Other creators like Some Ordinary Gamers and Penguin0 backed them up, saying Leah should be banned for setting a terrible precedent.
This picture here, apparently she even posted one of his house, which obviously I'm not going to show you. I'm not here to just like hop on and give you like a 4K display of Jack's Films dojo here because SSniperWolf posted it on her story. It's just an extremely degenerate, f***ed-up response to this whole situation from SSniperWolf here. It's borderline illegal, I think. I don't think you can just dox somebody like this, and if it's not illegal, it's against YouTube's rules at the very least. And it violates the Geneva Convention of Internet Content Creators, where you never take internet beef into the real world. It's just going too far with this whole thing. Jax Films was just making critiques on her content as well as making fun of it, which is something everyone does all the time, every single fucking day. And to go to this extreme where you dox him for it is just an incomprehensible...
Leah deleted the story real quick, but the damage was done. Fans and creators were furious. Over 100,000 people unsubscribed from her channel in just a few days after the incident. YouTube finally stepped in on October 20th, 2023, giving her a temporary monetization suspension for breaking their rules about off-platform actions that risk others' safety. But here's the kicker, a lot of folks thought YouTube went easy on her. Too easy, even. Her old videos still had ads, and the punishment felt like a slap on the wrist. People on X were like, if a smaller creator did this, they'd be gone in a heartbeat, citing Russell Brand as an example as he was permanently demonetized for ban evading. Leah posted an apology after the temporary ban, saying, "I'm sorry for my recent actions. It's inexcusable. I should have shown young creators how to resolve conflict respectfully." But nobody was buying it. Comments called it a ChatGPT apology, like her PR team wrote it to save face. This whole mess wasn't just about Leah and Jack. It also revealed just how YouTube sometimes plays favorites with big creators. Leah's channel was still up, still trending, even after something as serious as doxing. It got people wondering if YouTube actually cares more about money than safety. We'll dig into that later, but first let's rewind to see how Leah got to this point in her career. To understand how Leah became YouTube's most controversial star, we gotta go back to the beginning, way before the drama, when a kid from England was just dreaming of making it big. Before SniperWolf was doxing creators or beefing with half the internet, she was just Leah Jschlatt, a regular kid with a PlayStation and a dream. How did this girl from a small town in England turn into a YouTube juggernaut with 35 million subscribers and 26 billion views? Leah was born on October 22nd, 1992, in St. Helens, a gritty little town in Merseyside, England. Picture a young Leah, growing up in a Greek-Turkish family with two younger brothers, Paul and Bakir, and a sister, Rania, who later became a YouTuber herself. Life wasn't always easy for her, as her family was tight-knit, Christian, and working class, so money was tight. But Leah found her escape in video games. Her dad, trying to stop her and her brother from bickering, bought them a Sony PlayStation when she was a kid. That's when the spark hit. Leah fell in love with games like Metal Gear Solid, where she got her name SniperWolf, from a badass character. Little did she know that PlayStation would change her life. When Leah was 6, her family packed up and moved across the world to Phoenix, Arizona. New country, new school, new everything. It was a lot for a kid, but games were her constant. She'd spend hours playing, getting good at shooters like Call of Duty.
Advanced Warfare thoughts video because, well, I have more to say about it. Got a problem with that? So, some of you guys kind of freaked out, like comparing Advanced Warfare to Titanfall and how they copied Titanfall. Well, they both are futuristic first-person shooters with jumping and great mechanics. And also, Advanced Warfare has been in development for 3 years, so no one can really say. I don't know, what do you guys think? But anyways, Advanced Warfare seems to me like a new and improved Black Ops, and I love how they...
By her teens, she was a total gamer girl, dreaming of something bigger than the desert suburbs. She tried college, studying pharmacy and nursing, but it wasn't her vibe. Her heart was in gaming, and soon in YouTube. In 2011, at just 18, Leah took a big leap. She started a YouTube channel called Sexy Sniper, uploading Call of Duty gameplay videos. These weren't just like any other gameplay videos. She had this infectious energy, cracking jokes and showing off her skills. Her early supporters loved her vibe because she was a girl who could snipe with the best of them in a world full of dude bro gamers.
Advanced Warfare thoughts video because, well, I have more to say about it. Got a problem with that? So, some of you guys kind of freaked out, like comparing Advanced Warfare to Titanfall and how they copied Titanfall. Well, they both are futuristic first-person shooters with jumping and great mechanics. And also, Advanced Warfare has been in development for 3 years, so no one can really say. I don't know, what do you guys think? But anyways, Advanced Warfare seems to me like a new and improved Black Ops, and I love how they...
By 2013, she leveled up, launching her main channel, SniperWolf, with a Call of Duty Black Ops 2 Fails compilation that popped off. Her mix of gaming, humor, and that girl next door charm got her noticed fast. She was racking up views, building a fan base, and proving she could hang in a male-dominated space.
Guys, check out my diamond camo. I finally got diamond camo. What? How? I finally got my diamond camo, and it was a...
But here's where things get juicy. Leah's early success wasn't all her own, at least not according to some. A lawsuit we'll dig into later claims that her ex Evan Young was the one behind the controller, recording gameplay while Leah read scripts and played the part of a gamer girl. Whether that's true or not, Leah's channel was growing like crazy. By 2017, she was a big name, even landing on Forbes' list of top gaming influencers for 2017. Her cosplay posts on Instagram were blowing up too, with fans loving her takes on characters like Wonder Woman or Harley Quinn. She was living the dream, with millions of followers, a fancy house, and a net worth creeping towards $6 million. Then came the big shift. Around 2017, Leah noticed the YouTube game was changing. Gaming videos were still cool, but reaction content was taking over. Leah jumped on that train, and oh boy did it pay off. She started reacting to funny TikToks, life hacks, and viral clips, bringing her sassy commentary, or no commentary at all, to the table.
She took her GoPro, went in the ocean, under the sea, into a hole! Bro, come on, come out, come out, come out. How does she just keep sinking down further? How is she doing that? How far does this hole go? Congratulations, you've made it to Atlantis.
Her videos were getting millions of views each, and her subscriber count shot through the roof. She even started a second channel, Little Leah, for DIY stuff and lifestyle vlogs, which has 3.7 million subs. YouTube loved her because her videos were always trending, and she was invited to big events like VidCon as a keynote speaker. Leah was smart. She saw YouTube's algorithm rewarding longer videos with high engagement, and reaction content was perfect for that. Her fans, especially younger viewers and girls, ate it up. She was relatable, funny, and had a knack for making you feel like you were hanging out with a friend. But not everyone was a fan. Some creators started whispering that her reaction videos weren't adding anything new. She was just stealing TikToks and slapping her face on them. And that's where the trouble started brewing. The same charm that made her a star was about to get her in hot water, setting the stage for beefs, lawsuits, and that doxing disaster we just talked about. Leah had the world believing she was a one-woman show who was sniping noobs, cracking jokes, and building a YouTube channel that's now worth millions. But in 2023, a surprising lawsuit from her ex Evan Young, aka Evan Sausage, hit the internet unexpectedly like a grenade, claiming Leah's whole career was built on a lie. This wasn't just some ordinary breakup drama, it was a legal battle that exposed how Leah's early success might have been a team effort she tried to bury. So who's Evan Young? If you followed Leah for a while, you might know him as her on-again, off-again boyfriend, a YouTuber himself with a much smaller following. They met back in 2013 through YouTube, after he catfished her and messaged her saying that he would drag his balls through broken glass just to hear her fart over a walkie-talkie. Then they bonded over gaming and started dating.
What? I don't trust you.
But according to a lawsuit dug up by YouTuber Mad Catster in September 2023, Evan was way more than just Leah's boyfriend. He was the brains behind SSSniperWolf's early days. The court documents, which spread online, say Evan was the one playing Call of Duty and Metal Gear Rising, recording the gameplay that Leah used in her videos. She'd read scripts he wrote, act like she was the one gaming, and present herself as the star. Basically, Leah was the face, but Evan was the one grinding behind the scenes. The lawsuit gets even juicier. Evan claims he and Leah had a deal, an oral agreement to split the SSniperWolf channel's revenue 50-50. Because he wasn't just playing games, he was also coming up with video ideas, writing the scripts, editing footage, and even doing market research to grow the channel. And all this effort could not be just for a side gig. Evan was heavily involved in the creative content and operations, according to the legal filing. When SSniperWolf started blowing up, that deal was supposedly keeping things fair. But then in September 2022, their relationship hit the rocks, and Leah decided she didn't need Evan anymore. The lawsuit says she cut him out completely, keeping over $1 million in channel revenue for herself and even withholding hard drives that proved his role in the business. Talk about a betrayal. This news hit the internet hard. One user said Leah has been lying, and there's straight up videos of her playing Black Ops 2 and scratching her face with her right hand while holding the controller, and she's still running around. It was always her boyfriend's gameplay. Another said, it being her boyfriend's gameplay makes so much sense as to why she never posts Call of Duty videos anymore, or even any gameplay at all. The internet had a field day, with some other users calling it the ultimate YouTube betrayal, and adding that Leah's gamer girl image was a facade. This wasn't just about the money, it was about Leah's whole identity. She spent years building this persona as a self-made gaming star, but now people were questioning everything. Was she really the gamer she claimed to be? Or was she just a face for Evan's skills? The lawsuit itself didn't just hurt her wallet, no. It also cracked the foundation of her brand, exposing her to the public as a fraudulent streamer. And it set the stage for more controversies, including some that she would have hoped were her forgotten past. The doxing scandal with Jack's Films and the lawsuit with her ex, Evan Young, were massive, but they're just the tip of the iceberg of Leah's controversial history. Back in 2013, when Leah was just 20 and her YouTube channel was only starting to pop off, she landed in serious hot water. According to the court records available, she was charged with armed robbery after a run-in with a security guard. The details are wild. It is reported that she allegedly pushed a guard while trying to shoplift, which escalated into a full-blown charge. Now, to be fair, this case was settled with only community service, and Leah has never talked much about it. But when this news resurfaced years later, fans were shocked. One ex-post put it bluntly, SSSniperWolf really trying to paint herself as the victim when she doxed Jack's Films. This is the same chick who's been previously arrested for armed robbery, by the way. The internet didn't hold back with its quick criticism, but some still defended SSSniperWolf, saying that she was not actually armed and did not rob. It was just a security guard being annoying. Either way, the damage was far done, further denting her already damaged reputation in the public eye. Her remaining supporters hoped that this was a one-time occurrence, but would be left disappointed. In 2016, Leah and Evan Young, who was still her boyfriend at the time, got hit with another legal mess, this time for disorderly conduct. This one's straight out of a reality show. The two got into a heated fight because Evan changed his phone background to a picture of another girl.
Started off me and Sausage got into a fight and he changed his phone screen to just some random girl, and obviously that pissed me off, so I'm trying to like get his phone and see who it is. So I'm like, give me your phone, and I started screaming, and when I don't get my way, I scream, and I scream really loud. You know that high-pitched scream that girls do? I'm not even gonna do it for you guys just to spare you headphone users, but if you guys have heard a girl scream at the top of her lungs, it was absolutely disgusting. So of course I was screaming, and then I ran outside. I wasn't even screaming for help or anything. I was just screaming like, ah, like I hate you, like I fucking hate you.
Things got so intense that neighbors called the cops, and both Leah and Evan were arrested. They were released after a night in jail, but the story spread like wildfire. Reddit users were always more than eager to bring it up whenever she's being discussed. For example, one user posted that she spent 3 nights in jail for disorderly conduct and has a lawsuit against her, referring to the lawsuit from her ex-husband. These legal troubles painted Leah as someone with a temper, and they didn't exactly scream role model for her young fanbase. But if you thought arrests were bad, this next one somehow manages to top that. In December 2021, Leah got slammed for something way more heartbreaking after ghosting a terminally ill fan. A 10-year-old girl named Kiara, who was battling cancer, went on the No Jumper podcast with Adam22 and shared her dying wish to talk to her idol, SSSniperWolf.
That's crazy.
I'm gonna try to get in touch with
Adam reached out to Leah, who seemed super willing to make it happen. After all, it was the dying wish of a 10-year-old fan. So Adam linked Leah to the mother of the child, and they arranged for a meeting the next day. After Leah said she would love to send her a video message. The mother of the child, out of excitement, shared the news about the ordeal with Leah on her Instagram story, but she was quickly informed by Leah to take it down. Leah then explained that she doesn't usually do this and was avoiding other people spamming her for a video message. So Kiara's mom deleted the post and apologized. When the day for the call came, Leah was a no-show. Instead of chatting with Kiara, she was posting on Instagram about going out to dinner and partying. Kiara's mom took to social media begging Leah's fans for help, and it wasn't until fans started posting comments on her post that evening telling her to go and call the sick girl, insisting that it's crazy how she can't take 5 to 10 minutes from her day for the terminally ill child, that Leah decided to respond to the situation. Already, Kiara's mother lost all hope and was deeply frustrated, and she made sure that Leah was fully aware of what she was doing and the consequences of her actions. In her Instagram DMs, Kiara's mother tells Leah just how deeply her daughter loved her and watched her for her whole cancer treatment the past year, and she was only trying to make her daughter's dream come to pass. She added that Leah should not have responded at all. She could have easily told Kiara's that they weren't able to reach her. Instead, she did, and now they had hope and an expectation that Leah shattered by not showing up. Keemstar's drama alert broke the story, and the internet went off.
Anyhow, Adam, trying to make this 10-year-old's dreams come true, gets a hold of SSSniperWolf, or SSSniperWolf, and she agrees to talk to the kid dying of cancer. She set it up with her mom. I got the text conversations, so they have a date to do it, right? SniperWolf blows it off. Completely blows it off. She's posted on Instagram that she's out to dinner, all right? She's out partying and living it up, and this 10-year-old is literally dying right now.
Leah, as per usual, came out quickly to defend herself, narrating that she already assured her that she'd do the video chat with her daughter. Plus, she couldn't find a time that worked as her family was visiting and she got sick. That's why the call has been put off since. Someone then shared a screenshot from Leah's Instagram showing that her being busy was her actually going out and having cake that evening. Then someone else, who was probably a fan of Leah, responded under her asking why she had to do it, and he got a response from another user saying why? Because she committed herself to it and she should honor it, likening the scenario to John Cena choosing to skip a Make-A-Wish event. Surprisingly, Leah responded again, this time with more rage and anger in her words. Are you dumb? I said I'm doing it, so I'm doing it. I never ghosted, I was trying to find a time that worked and she blocked me. The whole time she was on the internet trying so hard to defend herself, she could have easily just picked up her phone and recorded the video message or called Kiara's mom to speak with Kiara and have everything settled. But she stayed on the internet arguing and defending herself pointlessly. After the backlash blew up and everyone was already talking about how much of a bad person she was, Leah finally decided to fulfill her promise and she sent a video message to the girl. Leah eventually reached out, but the damage was done. Her fans felt betrayed, and critics had more fuel for their fire, and to this day they have occasionally tried to rage bait Leah by bringing this up from time to time, and some of them have been successful. From accusations of stealing content to throwing shade at smaller YouTubers and ghosting, Leah's been in the middle of some epic clashes. The Jax Film doxing scandal we talked about earlier was a big one, but it wasn't her first rodeo. Leah's been tangling with creators since her early days, and the internet's got receipts from posts on platforms like X to Reddit threads and news articles calling her out for freebooting and picking fights to stay on top. First up, the big issue here is basically content theft. Leah's reaction videos, which make up most of her 26 billion views, have been heavily criticized for as long as memory serves.
You know the phrase, work smarter, not harder? Well, SniperWolf does neither. She just steals and doesn't credit anyone, and has become a zillionaire in doing so.
A fire hydrant exploded, and the water's just going everywhere.
Pretty cool. Now some of you might be thinking, so what? Who cares? She's giving creators exposure. And hey, maybe she gets permission from the creators to feature their work. You already know the answer to that. It still wouldn't make her content any better, because man, I cannot stress how nothing her commentary is.
Oh, what's that? A whole entire car just rolled into the neighbor's yard.
What I failed to mention before, however, is that he even went as far as contacting some of the TikTok creators featured in her videos, and asked if any of them had been reached out to by either Leah or a member of their team. Disappointingly, they all said Leah never asked permission to use their content, and some were even unaware of the infringement. Fans went to the comment section to make their voices heard. One of them agreed that SniperWolf's commentary on the videos she's reacting to were less effective than if the narrator from Peppa Pig did the commentary. But Jax Films wasn't the first creator to land in her crosshairs. Way back in 2013, while still running her channel under the name Sexy Sexy Sniper, Leah clashed with another female gamer known as Girl Gone Gamer. She uploaded a video titled The Truth About Girl Gone Gamer, which at first came off like she was about to share a lighthearted story about a friend. After all, fans of both women often drew comparisons between the two, saying they were alike in style and presence. For the first few seconds, it even felt like that's where the video was headed, until it took a very different turn.
Hey guys, what's up? So today I wanted to do something a little different and talk about Girl Gone Gamer. And you guys really have to watch the whole video to know the truth, because I feel like I'm going to make a lot of valid points and maybe give you some sort of insight that you guys might not have known about. But if you don't know her, she's been doing YouTube for almost 2 years and has over 400,000 subscribers and uploads pretty good COD gameplay. And as you guys have seen on my videos, I get literally at least 10 comments in a video asking me 1v1 Girl Gone Gamer, and they usually are a top comment. And I bet she gets a ton of those comments to 1v1 me. And she gets a lot of comments, so how could I possibly see them? I've seen the top comments several times. Say 1v1 SSS versus GGG, why don't you 1v1 SSSniperWolf?
But SniperWolf quickly escalated the whole thing and started accusing Girl Gone Gamer of faking her gameplay to get views from sweaty Reddit users.
She doesn't actually get her gameplays. And there have been hundreds of comments on my videos about how she's not the one playing. And before you fanboys go crazy and attack me, listen to me. Thousands of her subscribers asked her to do a live commentary. Well, because she's a gamer, isn't she? Hence, Girl Gone Gamer. And after 400,000, she hasn't even done a live commentary? She even tweeted once that she was doing an open lobby but didn't have a mic for PlayStation. Rhea, you have Astros, they're multi-platform. No excuse. Anyways, I had around 10,000. People told me that I was fake and I wasn't the one getting my gameplays, and my mic was broken at the time, and you know what I did? I went out and got a headset and a camera, and I did several live commentaries for you guys, and open lobbies and everything. And she ended up doing a live commentary, finally, after like 400k, which me and a lot of people knew, obviously.
Leah claimed that because Girl Gone Gamer hadn't done any live commentary, that she was obviously faking it, and wasn't the one actually playing the game. Which at the end of the day was just her projecting her insecurities on Girl Gone Gamer. SniperWolf then went on to add that she was the only one of the two girls that got a 100+ game. That is a match where she gets over 100 kill contributions, and it remained so until her fans started commenting on Girl Gone Gamer's uploads, saying she didn't get 100+ games and was still averaging 30 kills per game. According to SniperWolf, she deleted all those comments about her and suddenly started getting 100+ games regularly. SniperWolf says that it took her over 3 months to start averaging 80+ kills per game, but here, Girl Gone Gamer has achieved it overnight.
And another thing that I wanted to point out is that I'm known for getting 100+ gameplays on Black Ops 2, and after I started uploading 100+ gameplays, people started commenting on her videos and my videos saying that I was better, and how she couldn't get 100+ games. And after she deleted all those comments and blocked all those people, she uploaded a 100+ game. So how does someone go from averaging 30 kills a game to getting 100+ overnight? They don't. It took me like a couple months to start getting around 80+ kills on Black Ops 2. And isn't it weird that when people started saying that, the next day she gets a 100+ game? It doesn't make sense to me. And I've had PSN and Twitter friends play with her in her open lobbies, and they've told me that either she has the mic off and she does good, or she has the mic on and she goes negative. So anyways, if someone has a gaming channel and over 400,000 people asked you to do a live face cam, would you decline? No.
The video sparked a huge fight in the comments, with fans picking sides. Fans of Girl Gone Gamer came back to this particular video after the future news broke that SniperWolf was actually the one using her then-boyfriend's gameplay, and they were demanding apologies. One of them wrote, "I was a Girl Gone Gamer fan back in the day, and I demand an apology from you all, especially considering the recent news." On Reddit too, users later called it Leah's first big beef, but most were siding with Girl Gone Gamer, with one writing in response to the question of if Girl Gone Gamer was a fraud. At Leon the Loathed said, "It's pretty doubtful that she faked the gameplay. It looks like it was just a bunch of children doing the usual girl gamers aren't real gamers." And as much as Leah wanted the drama and controversy, Girl Gone Gamer just refused to give it to her, and instead kept on her path. Leah kept to this habit of bullying and trying to force drama from other creators, even through her growth, because we've seen similar actions like what she did with Girl Gone Gamer later in her career as well. Even as a big creator, basically one of the biggest creators on the platform. Leah used her name and influence to also hit smaller creators with copyright strikes whenever they criticized her or her content, which rubbed people the wrong way. The most notable example of such even in recent times is when she struck a YouTube channel called One Giant Onion. The copyright strike came after the creator posted a 3-hour-long video of him watching SSSniperWolf's content until he laughed. With the play being, she doesn't make him laugh, so he's watching hours and hours of her content. Leah had seen this and allegedly reported his video for copyright infringement, claiming that he used her content for his video without clearing it through her. After the copyright strike was implemented, the creator, One Giant Onion, took to YouTube once again to express his shock when he saw that his video was taken down.
Logged onto my YouTube account to change the thumbnail of one of my videos, and I was met with something very shocking. I actually have received a strike on my channel. Now at first I was really confused because I haven't done anything wrong. Honestly, when I first received this news, I thought maybe I got struck for one of my older, edgier videos, but upon further inspection, it turns out that I actually received a copyright strike from SSniperWolf. She took down one of my videos called Watching SSniperWolf Until I Laugh. Now this was a 3-hour-long video where I watched most of SSniperWolf's content, and the premise was she's not funny, so I'm just gonna like stay there and not laugh.
Going public with the news helped One Giant Onion because after posting his video, another big YouTuber watched the video and decided to help One Giant Onion take a stand. That YouTuber is Penguin0. He saw this video and immediately called out SSniperWolf for the abuse of power and injustice towards One Giant Onion. He starts his video by naming 2 other actors in the YouTube sphere that are consistently taking advantage of the copyright system. He called them the Big Three, and that includes The Manny Show, Tech Lead, and our dearest SSniperWolf.
So, hopefully the Manny Show will face just punishment for that as well as Tech Lead, but there is now a new YouTuber who has entered into this equation here. We got the Big Three, The Manny Show, Tech Lead, and SSniperWolf. Yep, she took her lack of talent right to the YouTube headquarters here to strike a channel because it hurt her feelings.
He then narrates the ordeal to his viewers, highlighting the kind of relationship that SSniperWolf shared with One Giant Onion and the kind of video that he uploaded to earn himself this copyright strike. Charlie also argued first that One Giant Onion might have been in the wrong here because in his 3-hour-long video he just played SSniperWolf's content and reacted to it by not laughing. That was his whole angle with it. Penguin0 added that One Giant Onion did not add anything of value to the content he covered, he just reacted to it. But again, he reminded us that SSniperWolf also wasn't the owner of the content either, because her reactions in these videos, according to him, represents less than 5% of the total content in One Giant Onion's video that was struck down, saying she's also a content thief.
The video was One Giant Onion did a watching SSniperWolf's content until I laugh challenge, and it was like a 3-hour video, and the joke was she doesn't make him laugh, so it was a long video going through her content and reacting to it. Now, technically, you could argue One Giant Onion was in the wrong because he took 3 hours worth of her content and didn't transform it. He just sat there, not giving a ton of input and definitely not laughing at it, because that was the joke. SSniperWolf doesn't make anyone laugh, thus this was a 3-hour video with no one having any fun. However, SSniperWolf doesn't own her own content either. She steals it. She doesn't have the right to that content that she's reacting to in the first place, thus she shouldn't be able to strike One Giant Onion for reacting to that content. Like, she owns her reactions, but that's like 5% of that 3-hour video because she doesn't add anything to the videos that she posts.
He doubled down, saying that no lawyer would be able to convince anyone that her content fits under the transformative argument, as she's only showing other people's content and doing the least as a reaction to what was happening in the video. Penguin0 called it the epitome of hypocrisy.
Content would not fit under a transformative argument under any circumstances. Fucking Saul Goodman wouldn't be able to make that argument in court on her behalf. Because usually she just plays the entire TikTok that she's reacting to with no input and then maybe afterwards says, geez, zoinks! Can you believe that? That's it. That's not transformative work, and it's just taking everyone else's content that she showcases. And she historically hasn't given credit. She doesn't compensate the creators whose work she takes. And then she has the chutzpah to strike One Giant Onion for reacting to her content. It's craziness. That is the epitome of hypocrisy.
The video ended with a last-ditch attempt to plead to SniperWolf by One Giant Onion. He says that being a YouTuber is his life, his only source of income, and that it is his dream job. He pleaded to SniperWolf not to take that away from him, and he pleaded to the community to help him any way possible.
I wouldn't be here today if I didn't have this channel, and I seriously mean that. This is my only source of income, and this is my dream job, and I love it. And the community I have here is literally the only thing I have. And I just want to keep making videos on here that people enjoy watching, but right now my literal job is being threatened by SniperWolf of all people.
SniperWolf saw the video made by Charlie and responded saying, "I want to clarify that I did not strike anyone's video. I do not have any pending takedown notices. I believe someone else must have done it on my behalf." Penguin Zero saw the tweet and was up the next morning with another video on YouTube analyzing the case, now with the newly found evidence. He does a brief recap of his previous video and reveals that he has a serious plot twist to the story.
Going over some more fraudulent strikes, which is becoming a huge issue that's plaguing the entire platform. It's an epidemic sweeping through. The first one was from the Manny Show. It's their second fraudulent strike that they've issued because their feelings get hurt. This one was automatically declined, which no doubt left Manny screaming into a pillow, kicking their feet in the air, wondering why no one likes them. The second strike I covered was one that was not declined. It fully went through, and it came from SniperWolf. Or was it? Was it all just a ploy from the deep state to have us eating out of the palm of their hands as the New World Illuminati shadow government actually worked behind the scenes to frame SniperWolf and she wasn't actually involved? Well, maybe not to that scale, but from all of the evidence I've seen now, it actually wasn't SniperWolf who filed that strike. And it's a very complicated mess that highlights a very, very rare problem on YouTube that I very much would like to talk about. But let's go through the entire lore real quick. So, the story starts with a big YouTube channel named One Giant Onion.
Turns out that SniperWolf wasn't the one responsible for the copyright strike that One Giant Onion faced. To confirm this conclusion, Penguin Zero requested all the possible information that he could get from One Giant Onion about the person who filed for the strike, and after going through it thoroughly, he was able to find out that the copyright was filed by an agency that claimed to be representing SniperWolf.
I reached out to One Giant Onion to just send me all of the info about the strike, which he was more than willing to do, so I appreciate that. I'm not going to post a screenshot because they're not mine to post. That's up to One Giant Onion if he wants to talk deeper about it and show those. I'll just talk about what was there. So, the copyright strike was filed by an individual who claims to be representing an agency, a collaborative agency, that works with SniperWolf. So they were successfully able to file the strike based on the information that they are with this agency that represents SniperWolf, thus they have the right to enforce her copyright. This is a pretty common thing, like I mentioned. There are tons of scumbag vermin that do this, these corporate suits that take this action, and many agencies that make this a core part of their strategy. However, what's definitely not a core part of their strategy is having the agents that are filing these takedown requests and strikes use a fucking personal Gmail account. So that's where
Penguin Zero then explained that it is indeed possible to file copyright claims through agents and representatives. But he also pointed out that something was very iffy and off about this one, and soon enough he found the loophole. The email address used in the filing of the strike, he realized, was not a company or organization's email address. Instead, it was a personal email address. He then reached out to SniperWolf personally to confirm that she did not know this agency that was posing to be her representatives, which she confirmed and even added that they have tried something similar with her in the past.
In this case, this fraudulent strike, this blatant abuse of the YouTube system, it seems like there's just nothing to gain. They took down the video, thus they're not making money from it. Like the only thing they gain is making SniperWolf look evil. So maybe it's something personal there? I have no clue. But I reached out to SniperWolf directly about this just to 100% confirm whether or not this agency represents her. I also could find no official mention of this agency ever working with SniperWolf, so I feel like any agency that would have a creator as large as her would be plastering that all over their marketing material. So this definitely seems like someone pretending to work at that agency and then filing this strike. but I reached out directly to SSSniperWolf just to 100% confirm whether or not she's associated with this group. She confirms she does not work with them at all, and even goes as far as to mention that this group has targeted her channel in the past as well.
Eventually, no real action would be taken any further, as SSniperWolf said it was going to be too much of a hassle to sue them, as they were an international company and they had a number of lawyers that would probably swallow SSniperWolf and Penguin Zero. Then there's the drama with Azzyland, a YouTuber who's been compared to Leah for years. Azzyland also does reaction videos and has a similar fun and bubbly vibe that was found appealing by younger fans. Around 2018 to 2019, fans started noticing their content was eerily similar, reacting to the same TikToks with near identical thumbnails and titles.
Plants that I'm killing. A luscious, well taken care of plant. Hey man, can I copy your homework? Yeah, but change it up a little so the teacher don't notice. This is a mirror.
And this is my favorite mirror. Finally got it, and it doesn't really go with it.
When Azzyland made a video back in 2016 where she was asked by a fan to cut a piece of her hair, which she obliged, then proceeded to ask that someone clones her, saying so repeatedly. She had no idea that her wishes of a clone might have come true in the form of SSniperWolf.
You guys, here goes nothing. I did it! You didn't say it had to be a lot, but I did. That's actually quite a lot. Rip hair. Who wants to clone me? Oh my god, she would be so evil. I know it. She'd be my evil clone. Do it! Do it! Clone!
Azzyland's fans accused Leah of copying her style.
Remember to always be yourself, unless you suck. Then pretend to be somebody else. And that's on Azzyland.
Leah's fans fired back, saying Azzy was the copycat. The feud blew up on social media at that time, with fans of both sides accusing the other of copying and stealing content. The pair had a number of back-and-forth interactions, each taking subtle jabs at the other and trying to prove that they are the original creator that's being stolen from. SSniperWolf first made the move with a video where she read a quote from Michael Wilson that read, "Remember to always be yourself. Unless you suck, then be somebody else." SSniperWolf made it into a jab by saying that's on Azzyland at the end, and fans gobbled it up.
The wise words of Michael Wilson. Remember to always be yourself, unless you suck. Then pretend to be somebody else. And that's on Azzyland.
Reddit subs had multiple threads still debating who was more original, with one user writing, "The recent interviews of Azzyland talking about the SSniperWolf situation made me want to re-watch some of Azzy's old videos, and correct me if I'm wrong because I haven't seen most of her recent videos, but I feel like she puts more effort into her content." Sportskeeda covered the drama, saying that copycat controversy fueled a divide among fans. Neither creator directly addressed it again, per se, but Leah's team reportedly sent a cease and desist to Azzyland's management, escalating things behind the scenes. Then one day, Azzyland quoted a tweet from Dextero of a picture showing one of her videos that she had recently uploaded, and then only a few minutes later, Leah had a similar video up. Azzyland claimed that this was proof that Leah was the one copying her content, but even the post she put up was quickly tagged with a community note. The community note read that her video and Leah's video did not have anything in common except the thumbnail. They were both reacting to different TikTok clips, and the only people that had the right to feel begrudged are the original creators in the videos that these two were copying and ripping off. Leah hit back saying, "I have a backup of videos and screenshots before she changed the thumbnails to make it look like I copied her. I have proof she copied my thumbnails. SEO, the way I speak, the jokes I make. The way you're trying to manipulate this is fraud." Then, shortly after sending out the tweet, she posted the evidence that she has, and it was just a list of videos from each of them that had different thumbnails. This did not necessarily prove anything, as the accusation was not that SSniperWolf didn't have different thumbnails, it was one about who was copying the other. Azzyland didn't stop there either. She went on to rebuff Leah and accuse her of bullying her for years on social media and through her fanbase, tweeting, "I've been relentlessly bullied for years over these claims of yours. The interview was intended to express the hypocrisy of your claims, and Nerd has his own take on what he found. All evidence shown by him can be found on the Wayback Machine, where it can't be edited or altered like screenshots can be. There's no value in driving this bullying any further." Then provided the link as evidence to show that Leah was the fraud. Again, as per Leah fashion, the bullying and threats didn't just stay online in this beef too. Azzyland revealed during her interview with Nerd, she revealed that Leah actually attacked her one time at a gaming competition. Azzyland claims that SSSniperWolf lunged at her after getting eliminated early at the Fortnite Celebrity Pro-Am 5 years ago. She said SSSniperWolf was just looking at her, staying silent, then she got angry and lunged at Azzy.
They were like in a circle, and I walked to the bathroom, and then when I was walking back, I saw them, and they're like, "Hey, Azzy," and then I was like, "Sniper was there," and I'm like, "Oh, you know what? Just be nice." They just walk over, and then I go in there, and I got really awkward, so I started like just telling an embarrassing story of myself, and she just like is looking at me, she's silent, and she's like angry, and then she like lunges at me, and I don't remember like exact details because it was just fucking terrifying. Got in between and like pulled her off me, and then they took her back into the room, and then I was out there, and they were like, "What was that?" It was just like, it was so. Oh yeah, she was like, oh yeah, she was screaming at me. She's like, a bunch of words I can't actually say.
This wasn't just a one-off event. Still, Leah's been accused of copying and harassing other creators too. She's copied everything from reaction formats to video titles for years. A YouTube video by Internet Anarchist titled "The Satisfying Downfall of SSSniperWolf" broke down how her lazy content relied on recycling TikToks without much credit, and has since racked up over 9 million views. Ex-users piled on, with one tweeting, "Leah's built a career stealing from small creators, and YouTube rewards her." Another user was less forgiving with words, calling Leah a nasty bully, a hypocrite who committed actual crimes and got a mere slap on the wrist at best. While Reddit subs had users creating bingo cards of Leah's repetitive reactions, like saying "that's crazy" every 10 seconds. These beefs showed Leah wasn't just fighting critics, she was paying the price for building a brand on content that wasn't always hers, and creators were fed up. All these clashes painted Leah as someone who'd do anything to stay on top, even if it meant stepping on others. Fans were able to keep the pressure on as they kept suggesting that SSSniperWolf was out here stealing content and fighting everyone, so YouTube's gotta do something. Even news outlets like .esports and Dextero noted how her content theft sparked a broader debate about YouTube's fair use policies. But with Leah still raking in millions, it's clear YouTube wasn't sweating it. Which brings us to the bigger question, why does she keep getting a pass? How is Leah Jschlatt still a YouTuber superstar with 35 million subscribers and 26 billion views despite all this drama? The answer lies with YouTube itself, and let me tell you, the internet's not happy about it. Social media posts, Reddit threads, and news articles are all screaming about YouTube's favoritism, and smaller creators are feeling the burn. First off, let's talk about YouTube's response to Leah's scandals. When she doxed Jack's Films in October 2023, showing up at his house and posting it to her 5 million Instagram followers, the internet went nuts. Creators demanded that her channel be banned, saying it was a dangerous precedent and such actions shouldn't go without consequences. Over 100,000 subscribers ditched her channel in days, and Twitter was on fire, with one user tweeting, "YouTube is like a parent who loves all their children, but some of them more than others." Speaking to YouTube obvious favoritism towards SSSniperWolf, YouTube finally stepped in on October 20th, 2023, giving her a temporary monetization suspension for breaking their rules on off-platform actions that put others' personal safety at risk. But here's the kicker, it was just a temporary ban. Her old videos kept making money, and she was back to normal in just a few weeks. Fans and other creators alike called it a slap on the wrist, and .esports said they did this because of the pressure from the community. They don't actually care. Why the light punishment? Well, money talks. Leah's channel pulls in millions in ad revenue, and YouTube's not about to let that go. Her videos consistently hit the trending tab, and she's been featured at big events like VidCon even after her scandals. Leah's temporary demonetization felt like a PR move, not a real consequence, especially when her channel kept racking up views. This double standard hits smaller creators the hardest. Take Jack's Films, for instance. He called out Leah's freebooting and he got doxxed for it. Smaller creators who criticize big names like Leah often face copyright strikes or harassment from her fans, but YouTube rarely steps in. But that's not the end of Leah's controversy trail. She's also done some stuff that got her cancelled on Twitter. Yep, we're talking accusations of transphobia and body shaming. In November 2020, a YouTuber named Chowdick dropped a video compiling clips of Leah's rude side. One clip from a 2019 reaction video showed Leah laughing at someone's appearance in one of the videos she was reacting to, one about prom dresses. Leah laughed at, mocked, and ended up calling the girl in question a liar, which many saw as body shaming. Fans then went to the comments section of the original creator to bring her attention to Leah's reaction to her video. This prompted the original creator to make a video telling the world what Leah had done. Fans kept on bashing Leah for her comment and reaction, with one fan asking, "Why are you body shaming a teenager when you're literally a grown woman?" Yet people tried to defend Leah by saying that she didn't even body shame her. Instead, she was talking only about the dress, and she didn't say anything about the original creator's body. Another old clip resurfaced where she made comments, laughed at, and misgendered a trans woman for being trans. This action led to some fans calling her a transphobic person for mocking a person's gender identity. Twitter lit up with outrage. One user tweeted saying SniperWolf's been body shaming and throwing transphobic shade forever. Why is she still platformed on YouTube? The hashtag #CancelSniperWolf trended, and other fans piled on, saying things like, "Her true colors keep showing, but YouTube just keeps promoting her." Leah didn't directly address these claims, and the silence only made things worse. Oh, and let's not forget the older videos that came back to haunt her. Around 2013 to 2014, Leah was making Omegle videos. You know, those random chat room streams where you just get paired randomly with strangers and talk? Some clips resurfaced in 2023, showing her talking to minors in ways that raised eyebrows. In one, she asked a 15-year-old if they work at Hooters and jokes about their appearance, which many called inappropriate.
Is that SSSniperWolf? No.
Hi.
How's your day?
It was alright. How was your day?
Terrible.
Why? What happened? Name 3 things that went horribly wrong today.
Meeting you.
Emotional, damn it!
Damn! You know, that's what I get for being nice, trying to have a little therapy session with this guy. Nah, he probably died on Fortnite, blame me.
Yo, what's up?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
What's up?
Are you a YouTuber?
Can you name 3 Iron Maiden songs?
Not on the top of my head.
Can you name 1?
No, I don't. I can't remember one.
Fear of the Dark? Ever heard of it?
Yeah.
How does it go?
On the top of my head, I cannot remember.
Are you a fake fan? I'll take that as a yes. I love Iron Maiden. I hate to see it. Hello?
That was your girlfriend. What?
Yeah.
These videos were deleted after the controversy, but not before ex-users screenshotted them, calling it predatory behavior. And while no legal action came from it, the clips added to the growing list of reasons people were turning on her. News outlets reported these stories, pointing out how Leah's controversies were stacking up against her massive fan base. But here's the thing. These moments didn't just hurt Leah's reputation alone, they also revealed a pattern. Whether it was legal trouble or ignoring fans, Leah seemed to skate by, with YouTube barely batting an eye. So where's Leah at now in September 2025? Her channel's still active, pumping out reaction videos and pulling millions of views. She's still got over 35 million subscribers, but the cracks are clearly showing. It is worth noting that she might have lost some sponsorships, but her core fan base, which is mostly made up of younger viewers, stays very loyal. It is reported that Leah's net worth is still around $6 million. Leah, though, has not stirred away from the news and tabloid headlines. Just a few weeks ago, it was reported that she recently aired the DM shots of the biggest rapper in modern history, Ovo's Drake. During a live stream with Aiden Ross, Drake asked Aiden Ross whether he was the one that told him to message SniperWolf. Ross was like, I mean, maybe, I don't know. Drake then described his brief interaction with SniperWolf on social media, saying that when he messaged her, she replied that she already had a boyfriend. He then responded, well, can we fight to the death? After this, she left the conversation on read and did not reply.
I was gonna ask if it was you that made me DM SniperWolf that one time.
No, wait. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
So what happened then?
Yeah,
Did that go anywhere?
She told me that she had a man, and then I was like, well,
Like when?
I was like, can we fight to the death? And then that was, I think that was the end of the DM.
Drake's account of their exchange drew attention from both fans and SniperWolf herself. On X, most fans were dunking on Drake, saying she's not even bad though. What is Drake on? Another fan called Drake a goofy weirdo. The following day after the news broke, Leah took to Instagram to give a subtle response to the situation with a post on her story captioned, "Good morning, made headlines yesterday for leaving a rapper on red, lol." Her fans, mostly haters, swarmed in trolling. One said she thought she was onto something as the first woman to leave Drake or a celebrity on red, and another responded she sees herself as the prize for doing that, telling herself she's so funny and more precious than gold. Leah went from a kid with a PlayStation in Arizona to a YouTube titan with 35 million subscribers and 26 billion views. She broke barriers as a female gamer, snagged awards, and built a $6 million empire. But the cost seemed too high. Her loyal fans still see her as a queen, but the hate is still loud. And those 100,000 subscribers she lost in 2023 haven't fully come back. But what do you guys think? Can Leah redeem herself, or is this the end of her reign? Let us know in the comments.